looks like we got 5 cards selected here. On the top, we have Scorpi. For those of you that are wondering, the red player on top is Scorpi. On the bottom is blue player Inquisitor. We're getting ready to make the roll off here. We'll see. We'll get all of our first 5 answers here just shortly, Neil. We'll know exactly what they thought was the best opens against each other. So
yeah, I will be interested to see what they say because, like, specifically Scorpi's deck, I would not be confident telling you what the plays are.
Yeah, and I think first 5 choke here may be good, Cam, against Harold in particular, at least for stabilizing your board round 1 potentially. It depends on who ends up going first, because if if Inquisitor goes first, then what you get into is a situation where maybe the first 5 on it isn't that big a deal because you can sort of control your timing and your tempo and try to play like 2 big units in round 1, right? And because it's possible that the other cards are just slash fodder. I don't think that's how you normally want to play Cole, but I am not the
Well,
best Cole player in the world. So
in this deck, and I played against Scorpio obviously because he has the foresight and not the abundance. He doesn't slash as much round 1 specifically. Because one of the reasons abundance is good is because even round 1 you get a multitude of extra cards.
Looks like 5 basics to 4 basics to get started. So Inquisitor is going to have choice to go first or second here. Both
but
decks
then round 2 you'll see with the foresight draw he'll slash more.
So he's going to give Scorpio to go first play. Once the top of the round. I think that makes sense with Harold if you're going to try to go wider. And Inquisitor certainly has the allies in his deck to do that. Just to be able to play wider than Cole can, just when you look at the sheer number counts between between the Scorpio Cole deck and the rest. So we get a double meditate.
Meditated a Nature's Wrath and a choke
for the Frostbite Bear. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a double Frostback Bear here. Bear wouldn't be a terrible open for both players. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, it's funny that like both Phoenixborns kind of have a way to make the Bears trade.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Though I guess it's better for Harold if that happens because Harold just spends an exhaustion rather than a card in hand.
Meditate 3 for Frostbite, Rosefire Dancer, and a Fester.
Yeah. Frostbite is kind of a rough one. I think it's probably good in this matchup, but the other 2 cards I don't think are very good in this matchup.
No, won't make much difference. Although Rosefire into Turtle Guard isn't terrible.
Well, Rosefire sucks against Cole because it has 1 defense, right?
Yeah, but just being able to play Rosefire immediately, exhaust out, and get like a turtle out of the way isn't a bad play for the cost of the dice. And yeah, Cole slashing it is definitely a thing that makes it less impactful for sure. You just kind of have to decide if those plays are worth it.
I think what normally happens is they play it, they exhaust something, and then it just gets picked off sometime in the round by 100 blades.
Scorpio just goes for a quick turn 2 Hammer Knight. And this puts a lot of tempo pressure on Harold here. Harold's life pool is not infinite for sure.
The Herald has another Fester, but having milled the 1, you just don't know.
Yeah, I would think most of the time the Herald player believes that the mark is going to be sufficient to deal with a big unit. And so one of the best ways you can beat Herald in that respect is to be aggressive like this, and then the Herald player doesn't have the unit on board to play mark attack plan.
If he has the Fester, this is really good for him.
Absolutely, but we'll have to see if that's a first 5 decision. He's definitely got the dice meditated for it, and he's just going to go bear book. Yeah. So I would suspect we'll see the Hammer Knight get use right here because I don't think you want to give him the option of putting a bear on the board. But maybe you have the removal.
I think that you don't attack with Hammer Knight because I think you want a juicier target than Fire Archer.
Sure.
Like
Just makes the bear. So I think that, like, my only question on that play, and there's a Fester, so now each player's down to one Fester left in deck. If I'm remembering correctly, on Scorpi, he's a 2 of
The
as
Cole
well.
has 3 Festers.
Okay, so he's got 2 left then. Ping and hammer aggression before night. Yeah, I think Cam. I think the order of sequencing there, like if you're not going to use a hammer knight in turn 3, then why not go ahead and make bear turn 2, and make the bear your opponent's primary target while you conceal the hammer knight a little bit.
The
longer.
hammer knight like essentially threatens. I guess he has a Celestial Knight and 2 Hammer Knights that it doesn't threaten. Bear doesn't threaten a number of his units, so like, but I think the Hammer Knight's fine there, and because specifically like looking at his pile, and having the Fire Archer in play, like you can never play Hammer Knight post Bear because he can just go like summon Bear or sorry, not summon Bear. Post Bear, it's he just goes mark attack.
Interesting. So Fire Archer attacks into Bear, and Scorpi counters to kill the Fire Archer. I guess that opens up a. I mean, if you just want to attack here, that's worth what, 5 attack now?
No,
or 3 attack.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there's
still no reason to attack with Hammer Knight. Like the Hammer Knight can do 3 to Herald at any time in the turn.
Sure.
If he had the Fester, he would have windmill slammed it by now.
Well, this will be his first turn to use Fester.
He could have used Fester last turn. He had Frog Ping plus Ceremonial Power showing.
So I think that's probably a pretty good indicator there's no Fester in the hand.
Right. And
it just depends on how
what
tight
happens.
It depends on how tight your first 5 is, whether or not you can spend 2 dice to Fester. Like if your first 5 is tight enough, then you maybe can't. So see, the only issue I have.
Mean, Fester is a reactive card, so you're only going to put Fester in your first 5 if you put your opponent on Hammer Knight.
Sure.
And in that situation, you're winning the dice exchange.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind what you're saying there.
Yeah, I mean, it might screw up the other things he's trying to do, but specifically that interaction, like 2 dice to kill his 3 dice knight, I think it's always good. So there's the bear.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to have a thing where Scorpi has to respond to bear or it's going to kill the knight. So that either means attack with knight, get your 3 damage in, or trade your knight with the bear if you're okay with that, just by leaving it back and like letting it eat the bear and the hunter's mark.
He's going to go ahead and mark before the choke. Well, the choke couldn't be played now anyways because we're out of ceremonial, but
so there is a card in the Cole deck that I think is really interesting.
Okay.
Because in this situation, Stasis is a blowout, I think.
Potentially.
Maybe not a huge blowout, because he could take his turn to untap it, and maybe that's not good.
He's definitely threatening. I mean, so one of the things he can do with Stasis is exhaust the bear on attack, and then attack and kill the bear. And so far, that's the only thing that
it'll get blocked by the Herald. Is the only problem. Otherwise, that'd be really good.
That's true. The Herald still got his defense up.
So now we have a turtle, which turtle on this board significantly less good than normal.
Sure. Just against Herald in general, turtle is less good.
Right. Yeah, unless you have which Scorpi doesn't have the additional books to get the exhaustion power.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, Herald is good against turtle. But it's interesting here because I think Scorpi is just okay trading knight for bear plus mark.
Yeah,
at this juncture, because there's just not a lot he can do about it.
It looks like it. That's interesting. So he's gonna take bear into turtle, or bear into bear. No. Okay, that makes more sense.
So what's happening? The trade for the hammer knight. I think he like was gonna block with turtle, but then they talked about how it can't be guarded,
right,
or something. I don't know, but yeah.
2 dice and 2 cards for Cole. Last card is a Foresight. We kind of expected that to get Cole up to that hand size of 6 to begin the next round. So we've kind of called so far what we expected to see out of Scorpi's deck turn round
this
1.
This is similar to what he started against me, which was the 3 books and Hammer Knight.
So here's False Demon.
I don't remember what his last card was.
False Demon will get some decent value here, but tough against Turtle Guard without a markup. So he's going to Foresight, and he's going to look at... Oh, he's going to use the Foresight a little bit more aggressively here.
I think using it on your opponent is better first time.
Yeah. I think it's totally fine.
Unless you're in a board state where you like specifically really need to draw something.
So what we could see here is Gilder. We can't play Gilder because he used the Charm dice, so no Gilder play.
I assume his 3rd spell slot is going to be Frostbite.
Makes sense. And so Demon and Frostbite will kill the bear. But that leaves Demon in an awkward spot where... So there's the Frostbite. That's a good assumption. Good pick up there.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his last card is, but he's showing, I guess, possible...
He could have a Knight, right?
Celestial Knight.
He could meta into
or
Celestial
Hammer
Knight here, or Hammer Knight. Either one of those things could be that last card.
He'd have to meditate for the thing, because we know he's going to spend 2 dice on Demon, which leaves him with exactly Knight plus Frostbite activation.
Right.
But so it could be either of those. Specifically, I think Celestial Knight is very good in this matchup.
For sure. It would require a meditation, but I don't think that's going to matter here. So if he spends the Divine, we'll know no Celestial. So no Celestial, just making False Demon off of this.
Interesting. I thought for sure it was Celestial Knight.
He's going to Ice Trap the Demon.
That's really good.
Still gets his value, but it's very good. So now if this is Hammer Knight, things get a little dicey.
It has to be, right?
It's got to be a Hammer Knight here.
It's interesting that he chose Hammer Knight over Celestial Knight to me against Cole.
I agree with that to a certain degree. It seems like Celestial Knight would be a blowout against Cole. But I guess he has the ability right now.
Is it a 3-2? Or is it a 3-3?
It's a 3-3 armored one.
Yeah. So here's the Hammer Knight attack, which I think he has to Cole block, because otherwise it kills the bear also.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't actually matter because he has the Frostbite. So
yeah, that's what he tried to do. Cam is hammer the turtle and aftershock the bear. Cole just takes that on the face. So we're gonna get a Frostbite to the bear here.
And I actually think I guess you lose the turtle that way, so maybe he wants to keep the turtle. Yeah, this is probably better. You take 2 additional damage and keep a turtle in play. That's probably worth.
I think so.
And it's interesting because turtle is so bad against Mark specifically that that means he thinks that the board state is going to consist of him and his opponent both having multiple units.
We get 5 basics off of the roll for top of round 2. Waiting for Inquisitor's roll here. Okay, so Inquisitor rolls a little better. 2 basics. No power sides, though. Not sure that that'll matter in the scheme of things here, but it could matter for any of those knight plays we were talking about if they come into play here. I mean, right now as it sits, Inquisitor's got a ton of momentum. Yeah, Cam, I'm going to tell these guys after this round is over that it's all your fault you watched the match.
Yeah, I mean, that first round wasn't great for the Cole, but I don't think he's super far behind here.
No, I agree with that completely.
Because the Hammer Knight... Yeah, I don't know. The Hammer Knight doesn't really want to attack that turtle, I don't think.
No, I don't think it wants to at all.
The turtle is kind of low value, so...
But I think you're going to have a hard time spending 4 cards in hand to murder the Hammer Knight, you know? Uh,
Yeah, he has multiple festers in his deck.
sure. Got 2 Festers left for sure.
And Molten Gold is essentially the same as a fester, it just costs an additional dice.
Right. I mean, I think you could pretty adequately just play Frostback Bear and pass here, right? Like,
Yeah, it depends on what he drew. Like playing second knight, either kind, is a lot more pressure than just Frostback Bear, but I think Frostback Bear is
so
very safe.
he's just gonna pass and put a frostbite damage on Cole.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. I would have wanted to keep my options open. I think on that because there's a root armor on the Turtle Guard now. Root armor's pretty good on Turtle Guard.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, except that whatever other unit he plays is going to get marked and dead.
There's first frostbite from Cole. Yeah, I didn't see it. Is Inquisitor? How many of the consume souls is he running? He's running all 3 consume souls, so he's all in on double mark terms. The timer is on. 9 more rounds to go. For sure. For sure.
Yeah, I mean that's a big turtle, right? Like it's that. I bet that turtle doesn't die this game,
No, I think it's
but
here
I
to
bet it
stay.
also doesn't do very much.
The only way
We'll
that
see if I'm
turtle,
wrong.
the only way that turtle's gonna die is if it takes damage in some way. So there's Fire Archer again, just getting that 1 damage in. We're just watching Harold burn down the opponent's face slowly over time here.
I guess if he never plays another unit, then like the turtle gets to block.
Yeah, but there's a
So
Swift Messenger on the back of Fire Archer. I love Swift Messenger with Cole here. Gives you more Cole slash power. It gives you another body
Yeah,
on the
it
board.
just puts a 1/1 in play without sacrificing full slash power.
That's right.
It doesn't actually increase the number of cards in your hand, but it does make a body while still retaining your slash power.
Yep. Oh, sorry, everybody. So we're going I mean, very similar boards now at this point with that Turtle Guard Root Armored. It does pose a little bit of a problem for anything short of just like Harold just planning to burn the game away at this point. There's 100 blades. So I think 100 blades is fine. Yeah. The Harold takes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be greedy to try to get more than that with it, though maybe he needs to get greedy to win. I'm not sure. I think this indicates he probably has a fester.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we got the game state correct before we moved on because he passed the turnover and we didn't see that 100 blades damage trigger. Yeah, I think he doesn't have much choice at this point, right? Like, he could have the consume soul, and so he can mark the turtle, and then snipe.
He has consume soul. It's insane.
Right.
We were talking about like consume soul earlier, where I said like the 2 life is always kind of crappy. Well, this is a situation where like it has a high impact.
Right, because if you mark right, if you mark the
I guess it doesn't actually kill it though, right? It
well, so yeah, it would because the turtle's only got 4
health. It does
kill
it. It takes 2 times 4.
2 times 2, yeah, so 4 total.
Sorry, 2 times 2 for a total of 4, and then he kills the.
I agree, Carl. He's probably sitting on a fester. We don't. I don't think it's a question of how does Inquisitor play out of the fester at this point, and I think his best play out of the fester is still going to get a 3-for-1 if he doubles to 4 exactly. So I think you just have to play Hammer Knight into this turtle here in order to shut the door on the turtle, and if you have Consume Soul, like great. So here's the mark.
I would attack with Hammer Knight. I don't know that you necessarily have to use Herald. If you have the Consume Soul, you should. If you don't, I'm not sure what's right.
Well, he's marking the turtle. He's just not putting the mark out. He's getting double counter damage, aftershock on there, so we're going to see all of that stuff come off.
Killing the messenger as well probably makes that worth it.
Yeah,
because he didn't have the consume. And at least this way you play around the fester.
That's right. You at least get value from your Hammer Knight before he festers it at this point. And it seems less...
Now it won't get festered, it'll just get slashed. But,
right. Absolutely. But you still got Bear and Demon to play.
You got a nice little 3-for-1 there. Like,
yeah, Ashes doesn't have very many 2-for-1s, and it certainly doesn't have very many 3-for-1s. But that was
it wasn't literally a 3-for-1. It was like a 3-for-2 because of the mark. But
right,
he definitely, like, I guess the dice also broke even.
Yes.
Because he's going to lose his Hammer Knight for 3 dice, and he spent 3 dice on the summon of Turtle plus...
Right. There goes the choke. Is that choke number 2 come out of the deck now?
I think so.
Okay, so
I think it's less impactful against the Herald, but I don't think he has any left.
Yeah. So we'll see if he drops another Frostbite. It's possible that he's got just second Frostbite in hand right now. Obviously,
well, it's interesting because he's like not committing anything to the board, so that makes me believe that he has allies in hand, or that he has Mist Typhoon / Nature's Wrath.
Sure, but
because
Mist Typhoon
you just wouldn't play those right now anyway.
Yeah, Mist Typhoon and Nature's Wrath wouldn't be that great in this particular sequence.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like because he hasn't played anything. He either has allies in hand, he doesn't want to commit to the board into the Coal Sweepers, or he has cards that are bad that he can't play.
Hesitant to spend that Divine makes me think he might have that Celestial we were talking about last round.
Yeah, I doubt that as well, just because it's a one-of, and also because I think he would have slammed it into play.
Sure.
Because it doesn't even get festered. Like, well, I get it can, but it'd be very hard.
It's a lot more difficult, for sure. I don't know.
So I bet he has like a Raptor Herder and a Mist Typhoon and a Summon Gilder. He could also have drawn the other books.
Well, he's given up the Gilder. Yeah, he's given up the Gilder if that's true.
Well, again, I don't think he would play the Gilder in this board state because his Spellbird's full and his other spells are better. Yeah, I'm just saying he just has crap in hand. Like,
he's given up the Divine, so I think you're probably right there. He was hesitant to give up that Divine, which made me wonder what his thought process was and whether or not he had that Celestial, because that would be the only way to play the Celestial is that one Divine die. Yeah. So, just going to play Bear into Bear. I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, Bear is totally reasonable here. Just like it's like a very safe play. There are very few things that kill the Bear here. Mm-hmm. And specifically, I don't think there's anything that kills the Bear that he wouldn't use on Hammer Knight first.
Absolutely.
Unless he's really worried about the Bear attack for 2. But now he's got the Turtle, which like blocks the Bear just fine.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a true statement at this point. Not having Consumed Soul here gives Scorpi a little breathing room for sure.
Yeah, he could still have the Consume. I think he probably would have used it, but maybe he's like really slow playing it. He probably doesn't have it. I think it would have like.
I think it had to be the best Consumed Soul of all time, right? If you get a 3-for-1,
not all time, but just like
you get a 3-for-1 out of your Hammer Knight. You get your mark back.
It's still a 3-for-2 because you're spending your Hammer Knight and your Consume to get all that stuff done.
So he's gonna Anchor Knot and shoot the Turtle. Okay, I don't mind that. That's good. It's a good way to deal with Turtle.
It makes the Turtle block on Bear not free.
Yep. There's the 100 Blades sweep.
Second 100 Blades. Yeah, I definitely never gave that card enough credit when I first analyzed it. It's just really good.
So if we get the 100 Blades health trigger again.
It's crazy how much better it is than Mist Typhoon.
Just trying to keep an eye on things. And I think that's this is an opportunity now where you just take the Bear and attack probably and try to kill the guard. and either Cole takes 2, and
Yeah, I think that you should attack with bear because specifically it can die to frostbite. And there it is. Yeah, it can die to frostbite plus slash.
Right. This does open up the Herald player to take some damage from Slash now and from Bear. Like, he can just do 3 damage to Herald here this turn because of the Bear attack.
Yeah, I don't think he's attacking with Bear, but he might slash face depending on his hand.
Yeah, it is the only one that can be vanished, Cam, for sure. Which is wild.
Is he going to make a 2/2? It's certainly interesting. I think if he makes a 2/2 here, he pretty much has nothing left to do in hand because it seems like he doesn't want to pass before making the demon. If he has to pass, then it's bad for him because he didn't make a demon.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Though I guess Scorpi's not going to pass, so maybe passing is good there.
He just goes ahead and plays the demon, so he must have been thinking similar things.
Right, it's kind of a mind game where, like, do you think your opponent's going to pass?
And he's out of frostbite range unless the Cole has a frostbite in hand now. But we're still...
And we're meditating?
Does he have another Hammer Knight to play?
It's possible. Or he's meditating for...
He does have 2 Hammer Knights in the list, so it's possible he's opened up like one of those cards in hand as a Hammer Knight.
He is showing other Hammer Knight dice, so that's very probable. It's also possible that he just meditated for ceremonial side action.
Yeah.
I don't know what he could get out of his pile right now because I can't look at his discard. But
right. So we see other Frostbite come online. That's going to allow the Frostbite slash to kill the demon. So you got to get some value out of the demon at this point. I think you just go at Cole's face and force the bear to exhaust if you want. Like you just trade 2 for 2.
I think I would try to attack the bear.
Well, then the bear doesn't have to counter at that point, though, right? So, like, if you attack the Cole, you force the bear into exhaustion to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think I would attack the bear, and then, like, if he attacks my demon back, I block with Herald. Just because I want to keep my guy in play.
Sure.
But this way he has a...
So he gives it up for a body and the Fire Archer. That's interesting.
Yeah. Minimum, he has a meditate for Frog Ping to kill that bear. If he has another main action.
Yeah.
Which I'm not entirely sure he does because of what we talked about.
Here, he's grabbing 3
this
dice.
Is a Hammer Knight.
This is definitely just windmill slam the Hammer Knight for 3 dice then.
And Hammer Knight's good here. Like, it's going to do 3 damage to Cole, probably. That's what's going to happen, but that's still good when Cole's at 9.
Oh, it's a Blood Archer.
Ooh.
That's saucy.
Even sweeter.
I think the Blood Archer is way above rate over Hammer Knight in this scenario, folks. I mean, like, way, way above rate.
Right, because the Hammer Knight would have just done 3 to Cole. This is going to do 3 to Cole and kill possibly both his guys.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to
get I guess it kills both. It kills both his guys, or it kills one of them and deals 3 to Cole. No, that's not true either.
No, because he can't.
Because if he activates it right now, he'll get Frostbite Slash to not get the second activate.
Right.
So I still think you kill the bear with it.
Yep. I think you just take your bear kill, let your opponent have a Fire Archer, I guess, on board. You force the opponent to slash because he can't frostbite, and you attack with the archer as a kill to the Fire Archer.
Oh, he doesn't have frostbite up. So yeah, you I think he should have pinged. Well, I guess pinging that is fine.
Yeah. Because the bear doesn't.
Because next turn he's going to get to. Right.
So now at this point you can just deal 3.
I don't know who's going first next round though because of the game reset.
So what you get out of this is the archer can now attack for 3. Cole will get to slash as a side, but you pass main. Cole gets double slash, still kills the archer.
You don't pass main because you attack.
Yeah, no. I'm talking
But
about like after that round. So,
yeah,
um, it's interesting. I think you probably just side action kill the bear and then attack for 3. That's going to be your best out here.
I think he can save the Blood Archer if he like
Not possible.
like he
He'd have to pass here
why
because he'd have to pass
you could
here.
just pass right now.
Yeah. Yeah, the only way to do it is pass right now. Not take your 3 damage on Cole.
I think that's what I would do.
I don't know. That seems risky to keep Cole at 9.
Why?
Uh,
I mean, he can't unless he draws Fester and rolls a ceremonial dice power. He can't kill the Blood Archer even
the Blood
if
Archer's
he
going to
has the top
recover.
of round.
Blood Archer's going to recover. And,
That's what I'm saying. Top
yeah.
of round, the only way that he kills the Blood Archer is with Frog Ping, or with Slash plus Fester.
Yeah.
So if he just passes here, he got Blood Archer in play and killed the Fire Archer, and then he'll have a brand new Blood Archer next turn.
Yeah, I think your best out if you're going to attack and do this is to go ahead and side action, kill the bear, and deal the 3. Because you know you're going to get double slash now because he's going to pass main slash, and then he's going to come back to you. He's going to pass main. I guess that's a double pass, so you still get out of it at that point. See, just like that, you still get out of it. So he didn't burn any cards into it because there was no point to. Man, that was a big play. That Blood Archer was a big play.
Wait, what happened?
So because he attacked,
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so he just didn't kill bear.
Right.
So you didn't have to pass it, or you just had to not kill bear.
Well, I think you could have still killed bear with that plan, but no, that's not true.
Then you would have got slashed.
Yep, you got slashed. So keeps the archer in play. Yep.
Yeah, this
is miles ahead.
Now it's looking good for Inquisitor for sure.
Yep.
Because you're essentially forced to do something with bear or lose it.
The fact you didn't roll a turtle power dice means that Inquisitor can't bring up Scorpi can't bring up the turtle here right away, which would force the mark play if you were going to go.
The turtle doesn't really do anything because he can just ping the bear and ignore the turtle.
Right, but I mean, the turtle doesn't do nothing when it comes to attacking the Phoenixborn. So, I think if you were able to play turtle here, you would have to force mark the turtle and kill the turtle with Blood Archer instead of like going after.
I think you can just leave the turtle and see how the round plays out.
Sure.
Like, because there's going to be more guys to attack, but he's got 2 books in play that he could summon, and like the turtle can only block so many of them. So I think you can ignore the turtle at least for a time.
Well, no, I don't think that's true, Cam, because if he would have shot the bear past his main. Yeah, sure. I think that's going to depend on what he does here. I mean, he can't play the turtle because of the main action side, so it's going to be Frostback Bear or something else here. But again, the presence of a second unit is going to be...
One possibility is he goes Frostbite / Blood Archer. Because that way, if Blood Archer kills the bear, it kills the Blood Archer. And the Blood Archer can't attack.
Sure. Yeah, that's probably the best play he could make here.
By doing / Frostbite, he doesn't med himself into later plays, but he stops the Blood Archer from damaging him.
Okay, so he's gonna put out a standard bear.
Okay. Standard bear looking pretty lonely in this board.
I think so too. Doesn't feel like that was the best answer.
I think it's fine. I think he just wanted a body that like actually does something. I'm not sure that. I mean, obviously, couldn't make a turtle.
Was that second?
Maybe bear would have been better than that, but
that second or third Fester that went by for chat? You guys remember?
I don't know.
I know it was at least 2. I don't know if it was.
I don't think Fester's very important anymore. Because we know 2 Hammer Knights are dead.
Yeah.
And this Blood Archer is going to do its work now. Like, it's not... it's not going to matter if the Blood Orc gets fetched after it kills that bear.
Second at least. That's what I thought too, Keem. I'm not sure if it's the third though. Wound the archer, kill the bear. Makes sense. Just gonna go ahead and attack with the archer. So he's gonna be willing to trade archer into our standard bearer.
I mean, I think that's really good for him.
Yeah.
Because that was essentially like a 3-for-1. Like you were talking about no 3-for-1s. This literally was a 3-for-1 because he killed a fire archer, a standard bearer, and a frostback bear with it.
Yeah. What a trade with that archer for sure. For sure. Hey, welcome, Nick. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, that was a huge. That blood archer was huge there at the end of that round.
Blood archer is a sweet card, man. Hey, Nick, we're happy to see you.
Yeah, we got to reach out.
I
was gonna say we got to reach out to you here for finals coverage again. Yeah, I think you can ignore it, Cam, at least for now. I mean, there's got to be at least one bad card in Scorpi's hand for end around slash to kill.
I think it's very likely that he'll have a sweeper of some kind to pick off the remainder of that archer.
Yeah.
Or the game is going to end before the archer untaps. Like those are the two things that are going to happen.
Awesome, man. That's super awesome of you to do that again. Appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna get the frostbite ping. Nope, I think we're just gonna see a
frostback bear. I think.
Yeah.
He's deciding what.
He was just so he's got me so thrown off because he was so aggressive last round using that frostbite right at the top round first action play.
I thought that was a little strange, but obviously he just wanted to like punt.
Yeah.
And see what Scorpi did.
The frostback bear. The window of opportunity for Cole is closing fast, I think.
Yeah, I think it was
6 cards left in deck for Cole.
Pretty rough when that Blood Archer came down.
Yeah, that seemed to be the moment in time in this match where the tempo drastically shifted into Inquisitor.
Blood Archer's like a Hammer Knight they can't block.
Mm-hmm. I like Blood Archer a lot. It's tough because it's in colors that are not always played as often, which is that, divine or that ceremonial and charm. We see a lot of Hammer Knight and
I like almost put one in my Aerodel list.
It makes sense.
I thought it was kind of greedy because I only have the one charm dice and the one ceremonial dice.
Well, here's Inquisitor using the one charm dice off for you.
Well, yeah, it's different when it's a single splash, right? When it's a double splash and one of them is a power, then it's a lot more work.
Absolutely. And
yeah, my deck specifically didn't have allies because it was focused on both threats.
And I think that 4-book Aerodel playing just a smattering of good allies is not a bad plan.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, the shell of that is so versatile. Like you can do almost whatever you want.
Right. Agreed.
Because you're never going to fill your battlefield for sure. Like you have to work really hard to do so.
We're just going to see, so we're going to see a Herald Mark. We're just going to bear attack. This is a good trade, bear into bear here, because his bear doesn't die.
Like, it'll probably get slashed, but like you're okay trading your 2 dice for their 2 dice and a card.
Right.
I guess, and your mark, but...
Are we going to get the Consume Soul reaction here? We are.
Oh, that makes it even better.
Yep.
So you traded bear for bear, and you traded Consume Soul for a card in their hand.
Spend 1 more die on that Consume Soul.
Unless he's got the like now's the time when the sweeper's good, obviously, because he's got 2 guys at 1 health left. He did. He spent the charm dice.
Gotcha. All right, my bad. I missed it. I thought that charm was already in the exhausted pool from something else. So
Yep, it's hard for Cole.
well, at this point, I think Cole just has to be aggressively like trying to slash through and frostbite to the face. But I mean, you're 15 health away. It seems like an eternity at this point. He's gonna kill that blood archer first. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, he's got two molten golds, I guess. That's still a stretch though. Like, uh, essentially, in order for that to work, he has to bank on Inquisitor having nothing at all.
Well, because at this point, 3 cards are going to be dedicated to the units you know exist in Inquisitor's board, right? The False Demon.
Oh
and the
yeah,
bear.
with the false demon summon, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. So I mean, you've got to dedicate 3/5 of your hand at this point just to get the board clear to do 2 damage.
And he's like almost milled too, right?
Yeah,
he's got 5 cards left.
5 cards remaining, so he's got one more round if he uses all of his cards on slash here. So
he would actually take a damage because he has a 6-card max size right now.
So we're gonna get a Hammer Knight from Scorpi.
That's pretty good.
It's
like
not bad.
That's one way that he
and a root armor. That's
okay.
That's pretty tough on, Inquisitor here. We'll have to see what kind of answers he can put in place because root armor is really good at shutting down a mark. Especially when you start talking about like
when it has 5 health like this,
right?
Then it's really good because there's so many.
Because the demon can't ping.
Guys, but
yep, the demon can't ping, and you're gonna have to have another 3-power answer here, like you said. So
right, so what ends up happening here is that this Hammer Knight can like never attack because it has to be held back to block all these guys until the very end of the round when Inquisitor's out of gas. But Inquisitor is ahead on cards and dice, and summon books activatable. I guess he's tied on summon books, but Turtle is not.
Well, Scorpi's technically ahead on summon books because he's got a turtle and a frostbite still up. But
yeah, but like, there's no way that he races frostbites 15-5.
No. So we get a double meditate from hand, 2 nature's wraths. Obviously, those are very much less good when the opponent's playing big units and root armors.
Right. It's just not good to begin with, and there's a root armor in play. Because that nature wrath also kills his bear.
So he does set up the dice for the Celestial Knight if he's got the Knight. But the Celestial Knight doesn't do much in this board, I don't think. So
it's fine. It's just another reason that Hammer Knight can never attack.
There's the Celestial Knight. So Inquisitor is giving up the Molten Gold play this turn if it's there. So now we just see, is that last dice going to be a Frostbite? Foresight is a May ability. Yes, that's correct. So
the drawing an additional card is a May?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So it won't kill you. Foresight won't kill you.
So is Ironworker also a May?
Close combat. Close combat puts a wound on the Hammer Knight, though.
But that doesn't matter,
right? Unless Jason's got a Fester.
I don't know. I guess I don't know if we saw the other Fester go by. He does need to put a wound or exhaustion somewhere. Is it a wound or does it do a damage?
It's a wound. I learned this the hard way the other day.
Oh, he slashed it. I see.
Okay. Makes sense. That makes a lot more sense.
Okay, there's the demon. So now he has Molten Gold Lethal with these 2 units in play.
Correct. Going into the top of the round, going first. So if that last card in hand is a Molten Gold.
Demon is Frostbite plus slashable here. So
I think you have to keep him away from that. So he's going to go ahead and mark the Hammer Knight. The thing that's scary about marking this Hammer Knight right now is that it may just end up sticking on that Hammer Knight for a lot longer than you want it to. Yeah. So they get a pass. Is that what we just saw? Scorpi's turn, Inquisitor's turn, so a double pass. Wild. Would not have seen that coming. I would have think he would want...
Well, that just probably means he doesn't... No, we're having more action, apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's the Raptor Herder. So now he's got it. Just
now he has lethal.
Lethal, because he's just wider, right? So...
But
3, 4...
I don't... I mean, again, if he has a sweeper slash kills like everything except... So.
Well, no sweeper here because he doesn't have 2 dice, so he's got to just play foresight into 1 and slash into 1. That keeps the demon alive through the round. So here's the foresight into the hatchling or the herder.
Frostbite hatchling, like having the 1/1 in play doesn't actually change the molten gold math, so
yeah, he definitely chopped that raptor up, man. But he just did it through frostbite instead. He had that last dice up. I think you can just send the team at this point, get your 3 damage in.
Well, if he has the molten gold, I guess he has how many molten golds in his deck?
I kind of like calling Cole's ability.
He has 1 molten gold in his deck. Did we see it get?
I don't know if I've seen it or not. It definitely wasn't his last card there, obviously. There's the mark. You just want to make sure you get 4 damage on the Hammer Knight so that it heals to 2. You're still just in a position where, you know, he has to block.
It's interesting here because is he still just going to go all to face?
Yeah. You definitely should go all to face because the Hammer Knight's got alert. So doesn't kill a knight. Yeah, I think they're getting it fixed. Okay. Cool. I wanted to make sure the Hammer Knight's got 4 damage on it. Two damage on the Celestial Knight. Okay, I got it right. Cool. That root armor life buff, Cam. Now you just have to have a dispel, right? You just dispel the root armor and they die. If you're gonna do that, you might as well have done the Hammer Knight. Shouldn't have exhausted because
I think he's attacking now.
Oh, it's attacking now. Okay, that makes sense.
Just yeah, I mean, it's always going to get attacking end around.
See, I think that I guess it's going to go to face no matter what because the Herald block was still up, so there's no way to force the death of the Celestial Knight False Demon. So I think just going first here at the top of the round now is...
The correct play is to attack Celestial Knight. The shortcut is block with Herald.
Right.
Right? Like, there's no way that Celestial Knight is good. He's going to let Celestial Knight plus Raptor Herder die to Hammer Knight there.
Right. Absolutely.
So we'll see if he has the Molten Gold remaining, because I don't know if he does.
Well, he's got lethal on board, because he's got 1 defender up, and he's going first.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just going to be an attack with the team again. Finish the game, because the Demon and the Raptor Herder will deal 3. So that's going to wrap this game up, for sure, as long as Inquisitor doesn't make a mistake. But looks like he is grabbing all 3 units here, sending the squad, finishing the Cole. Very well played.
Squad goals.
Or murdered by units. Golden Coal statue or murdered by units. I think it's murdered by units this game. So, obviously, very well played by both players. I think that Herald is just really good if you've got a small group of units to play. And, he's very good at punishing even root armored units like this, and obviously Inquisitor did a nice job of just building a solid board state where he knew he could put the damage through before going into top of round, and having that Herald block still available late round to prevent the death of his Celestial Knight meant that he was able to finish it without any additional card play. So, congrats, Inquisitor, for moving on. Scorpi, well played tournament. Obviously, we got Season 3 signups running right now on the Discord, so if you're not in, that removal keeps control for sure, Cam. So if you're not into Season 3 yet and you want to participate in these tournaments, they're totally free. You should do that. There's nothing wrong with giving yourself a little trial by fire, or in this case, maybe gold in many cases. But yeah, I thought this was a really interesting game. There was a lot of back and forth decision making. I think the game really turned for Scorpi when that Blood Archer came down. That was just sort of the pivotal moment in time where you and I both thought that was a Hammer Knight based on the dice. So, congrats to Inquisitor for, concealing that really well. I mean, obviously the Blood Archer is a one of in the deck, so you just don't expect it. And with a 2 of Hammer Knight, it looked more likely to be a Hammer Knight.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hammer Knight would have functioned similarly, though
Mm-hmm.
Blood Archer was a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, I think any big dude there was going to be good enough.
Yep, for sure. So excited to be bringing this first match, which is pre-recorded. I do know the outcome of the match. I will not spoil it here. And,
I do not know the outcome of this match.
And anybody that's following our Discord probably knows the outcome of the match as well. But
I worked really hard not to
spoil it. I think it got buried fairly quickly. So if you're, I think you'll be pretty safe if you've been sort of avoiding the Discord since this match was played last night. And that's mainly because qreqorek is out of Poland, so the timing is important for them to get sorted out and play at a time that makes sense because of the time differential. And so I think this is qreqorek's second top 8. Did he top 8 Season 1 as well? I'm trying to remember if he did or didn't.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember for sure. I'd have to go back and look at the standings, but super excited to get this match going. We've got an Odette list, and we know Odette is very near and dear to my heart. The Herald list from Carl, he and I had talked pre-tournament about Herald a little bit, and he went with just a different variation, I think, but for the most part, had a very similar sort of dice spread and setup to mine, except for he's got that single charm die, which we know is just there for powerful things like Golden Veil, all the things you would expect and suspect for protection from charm. So let me get the list pulled up here because I'm a slacker and didn't have it pulled up here pre-stream. And so then we can go ahead and jump right into this game and see how we go. So one quick comment for anybody that's catching this on YouTube. I know the official Ashes mod looks different, and I've had some questions on YouTube when we've posted games like this where the Ashes, where they're on the old Ashes save table versus the mod. This is what was pre-Ashes mod. So Carl and qreqorek, see, I'm gonna struggle with this. qreqorek had set this up on that table instead. So don't worry if your Ashes TTS doesn't look like this. This is just the old save file that's sort of floating around in the community that was pre the official Chaos Theory mod. So and Impossible German, who will be on stream later tonight. So just a quick top of the round, top of the stream summary. We're going to have this match show up first, and then we're going to have 2 live matches. First live match will happen in about an hour and 20 minutes from now. I think that we've got plenty of time on this match to get there. And then right after that, following that match, will be MBauers and Impossible German. So the first match will be Phillycheaz and Bill. And I think we've seen Bill on stream already once because, Neil, you played him live on stream. And I don't think we've seen Philly's deck yet live, which I'm excited to see Philly's deck. And I don't think we've seen either of these two decks live either in this season. So, yeah, I'm excited to break this thing down. But I'm a big fan of Odette, big fan of Harold. So this is a match right after my heart here. So, should we get this party going, Neil?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
I'm excited to see this match.
All right, so let's. I'm going to go ahead and play, and then we'll just start. We'll start discussing. Since we're getting Gregorek's view, we will know Gregorek's hand, which is something we normally wouldn't have, and on the lives we won't have that. But I was hoping maybe we would get Carl's feed as well, but we don't have that. Carl was still messing around with his recording settings. I tried to help him get set up pre-match, but it just didn't work out. So, all right, here we go. All right, so I don't know what Carl's got like a bunch of conjurations hanging around on the side of the table for, but I'm assuming he'll get that cleaned up.
So if we were guessing uh at Gregorek's starting five, I would have been pretty close.
Okay.
Like the Grave Knight is the outlier.
Okay.
I think.
And why do you think the Grave Knight wouldn't have been in the starting five?
I'm sorry, I missed one. Just because it's kind of replaceable, like it could have been a Hammer Knight, just another threat. But I would have missed it. I lied. So he has chosen Lioness, Frostback, and Lightbringer.
Mm-hmm.
I had him on Raptor Herder and Stegosaurus.
Okay.
Because obviously those two cards have a lot of synergy together.
It is kind of interesting. I was looking at Carl's list. Does he have the ice traps in the list? He doesn't. So it is interesting that he made the choice for Frostback Bear here over Ceresaurus.
I think it's just like
it's probably like the bypass because of the Gilder would be my guess. Because most likely Carl's first five is going to be a Bear, Gilder, and probably either an Owl or a Lightbringer. I don't know, or maybe he runs.
I think Lightbringer. I'm not sure Owl is very good in this match.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's just bad against Odette. Is the thing.
Yep.
So, I think he's probably on Frostback, Gilder, Lightbringer.
Yeah, I would suspect we'll also see a Raptor Herder.
I think that mostly the reason that you don't go Ceresaurus, and obviously this is just speculation, is that your best guy is going to get die every turn.
Sure.
To Hunter's Mark. So Frostback Bear isn't that much weaker than Ceresaurus, and it's a ton less impactful to get murdered.
Right.
Because obviously you spend the time and energy and extra cards into the Ceresaur that you don't into the Frostback Bear. So I think that's my best guess,
okay.
But
and Gregorek's adding something. He's in chat with us tonight. Welcome, Gregorek. Appreciate you just spending some time with us in chat. He said that in the fifth round he played versus Carl, so this is a rematch from their fifth round. And he goes, the Ceresaurus just didn't work against Carl, so changing it up to the Frostback Bear just to try to get maybe a little bit different outcome and result here. The other card I would consider that I would imagine Carl's considering starting against this matchup would be the Sonic Swordsman Root Armor. Just seems like it's a really good answer to.
Well, I wouldn't start that against Sword of Virtue. That's
fair. That's fair.
Obviously, we can see the hand that doesn't have Sword of Virtue in it, but like I don't like the Root Armor against Sword of Virtue deck very much.
So it looks like Gregorek won or lost the roll off. Carl won the roll off with more basics, 5 basics here, 6 basics, and gave Gregorek the go ahead to start first here. So Carl wants to go second in this matchup. Probably makes sense because you sort of can control the tempo of what you put out when you go second, and you can bait Odette's Enter the Fray ability on the Phoenixborn. So we can meditate 3.
I guess it's possible that he started a Golden Veil.
It's possible.
In which case the Root Armor is better.
So
I think if he has Root Armor, he also has a Golden Veil. Is what I'm saying, I guess.
Sure. qreqorek opens strong and fast with a Grave Knight right out of the gate. Very aggressive open. I do like seeing aggressive play, and I think Grave Knight's a heck of an aggressive unit that is
Yeah,
going
I
to.
mean, it essentially just like looking at the list that Carl has, like there's no one shots on it, so it's always going to kill the first guy that Carl makes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it essentially is just like 3 dice kill your first play, and probably leave behind a hammer or a knight to deal with.
Right.
Um, so that's a meditate raptor herder, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he plays
The
Frostback
Frostback
Bear.
Bear. Yep. So
I
we.
was about to say that the raptor herder specifically is good against the Grave Knight Open, but it's just a meditate, so
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean he doesn't have a raptor because he has 3 of them in the pile, but
Right. Yeah. Interestingly, Carl does have ways to recur those raptor herders with 2 Shepherd of Lost Souls still in the list.
I
And
think he almost certainly has a swordsman, uh, just because the combination of Hunter's Mark plus swordsman is so strong. Okay,
so,
so he just wants the 4 damage. He doesn't want their rule spell.
yep, just wants to get 4 damage in as quick as possible. I think that's fine here.
That's definitely not the play that I would have made, but I haven't made 2 top 8s, so maybe I'm wrong. Um,
I think
just
it's
because
I think it's
like
hard to control Herald when you got big units. So you kind of want to use the units before you give Herald the advantage
it's
with
just
Hunter's Mark.
it's just specific Grave Knight that forces the block that makes that different, I think, because he could wait until Carl made any guy and then attack.
Sure.
And it would always eat something. There's not a guy in Carl's deck that wouldn't die to it without the root armor.
So I didn't do the dice math here yet to figure out if he plays Frostback Bear and Shepherd, he still has a Nature Ping available and still has the ability to play, I think, Wing Lioness and Lightbringer. So he could do Enter the Fray, Nature Ping from Odette here, I believe, and still have the dice correct to just kill the bear outright. Um, you're going to take a little bit of damage, but I don't think that necessarily matters when you've got an open board and you're probably going to take 2 damage from the bear anyways if Carl chooses to use the bear that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to have that option for a long time. Like, I don't think that bear's coming in anytime soon. It's just going to sit there until now that the Grave Knight's tapped anyway. It's just going to kind of sit there. I suppose Carl can see the Odette plus Frog Ping.
Yeah, I mean it's telegraphed enough at this particular point that I think you could make the decision to not avoid getting nothing from your bear, right? Like
well,
could,
you don't get nothing. You get
sure.
You're going to get +2 damage on it if he Odette's it regardless and eat a dice.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it's not ideal. It just Carl needs like I believe he wants a 2-power unit in play.
Mm-hmm. So there comes the Lightbringer.
Just to threaten the Hunter's Mark on anything, but maybe not. If he's got the Swordsman in play, it probably doesn't matter very much.
Lightbringer of his own here from qreqorek. So we're seeing very similar, opening patterns minus the Grave Knight here between these 2 decks.
Well, great. I mean, I think it's going to be very similar. Grave Knight and Swordsman are very similar,
Sure, I'm just talking about the pattern of play. So we saw Carl's opening play be Frostback Bear. Carl's dropping an Ironworker. This is an interesting tech card in a first 5. I wonder what that is all about. I'll have to ask Carl about that post stream maybe because
I mean it just forces the Enter the Fray, I think. Like, and if he's got the Golden Veil, then he's got the Golden Veil. Because his last 2 cards could be Swordsman, Golden Veil, and he'd still have enough dice to do everything, including summon
the Lightbringer.
Lightbringer.
Right.
So
He's gonna
So
Odette the Ironworker.
yep. So there's the end of the fray. I think that that's very forced.
Yeah, I don't know if that was necessary though, just yet, because you still got Wing Lioness in the wings, and you could stock the Ironworker with the Wing Lioness. So, like, I still think you could have done Enter the Fray on the bear, gotten rid of the bigger threat, and still effectively dealt with the
I think
bear.
the Ironworker is the bigger threat between those two.
Really? Okay.
They both attack for 2, and the Ironworker has a like an additional power.
Sure.
Like the 2 extra cards in a match like this between 2 control decks is going to be a really big deal. And uh,
Okay.
so there's the Swordsman.
Yep.
I think this almost guarantees his last card is Golden Veil.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um,
So you got and Gregorek's adding here that Ironworker was his pain in game one, and it gave Carl too many round two cards, giving him 7 cards in round two. Yeah, I mean I can
right.
see that.
I think that's definitely true. Between the Frostback Bear and the Ironworker, I would 100%. I think Ironworker is a bigger threat.
Dropping the Raptor Herder. I don't like this play from a perspective of just like it sort of nullifies the Lightbringer if Carl wants to met into the Lightbringer. Like you can just offer up the O2 hatchling at that point.
Um, yeah, I think that Carl only has 2 actions now, right? He's going to make a Lightbringer or he's going to mark and attack. But
Right.
mark and attack isn't very good. Well, it is now that the Raptor's there. At least you can get the tap off, but it's just not very good in this board. So I think most likely he's Lightbringer.
Yep, that's what he did.
Also throwing
Dice off the table. Met it into that. We met it a call to action. Interesting card. I love the call to actions. I just every time I have them in my deck, I feel like I just sit on them and never get the correct moment to use them.
Sitting on them is what you do, right? Like
Yeah,
you're only going to play 1 a game, probably.
Right.
Oh, he only has 1 in the pile, even.
Yep.
So here's the Lightbringer. This is a pretty good Lightbringer. It just eats one of his 2 men.
Yep, for sure does.
I think you probably attack with the herder. I'm not sure because I don't know. Like, I guess he's at 5 allies and 3 books. So you could potentially turn on the hatchling. I think that I would want to attack with the herder just because I think it's most likely that the peacock is going to block regardless of what he attacks. So
he can block with the swordsman because it has alert too. So if you attack with the herder,
oh yeah, I guess then in that case I would attack with hatchling.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he wants to block with peacock, so maybe not. With the Odette tapped out already, yeah, I think. Yeah, so he picks herder. I think this in general is better because if the peacock blocks, it dies, and the raptor will be a 2/1 at some point in this turn, almost certainly. Though I guess the swordsman will probably stop that.
So I think if I was going to make that attack, I would have just attacked Herald directly. It forced the bear. If the bear was going to block,
I couldn't. Did he attack the bear?
He attacked the bear. Yep. I think I would have probably attacked the Herald directly, and it would have definitely probably triggered the swordsman to block there. But or if the Lightbringer blocks, then
I like the bear attack because at least you're picking where the damage is going.
Sure.
Like.
So Carl just is going to attack for 2, fly past the hatchling with the bear.
And because qreqorek still has 2 power summons, so 1 damage on the bear makes like Lioness lethal. It makes Frostback lethal into the bear. So I think that's both a good attack and a good block. qreqorek in a good position here to like get some late attacks in the round.
Yeah, he definitely has. I mean, Carl's got 1 card left in hand, and I don't think there's any secret.
So it looks like Carl passed, which I think is very good because obviously qreqorek's not ready to pass the turn, and
so he's gonna make a Lightbringer here. So one thing I would have considered doing is nature pinging the Peacock and forcing the swordsman to attack and getting it to
He
exhaust
still
here?
might. Oh, uh, he's got a side action still. He
That's
might
true.
do
I
it.
guess the order doesn't matter so much, but he did go ahead and pass. So
Right.
to,
I think he wants that frog for the frostback bear is
I,
what has happened.
I get that for sure. You would definitely still have it though through. In this case, like I think Odette has to tank this Lightbringer hit now, because I think you need like if you keep the
Well,
Lightbringer up and the Winged Lioness and with Herald blocked out now,
well, you know,
you can actually kill the Swordsman because you have 4 damage between the Lightbringer and the Winged Lioness and the Frostback Bear. Like you can take Swordsman away. Um,
that's just not going to happen though because of the swordsman ability. Like he's gonna. So here's the block, which I think is a fine block because
sure.
you're not going to get to block with Odette against the swordsman anyway because of Hunter's Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think Carl's going to pass again. Um, well, I guess he doesn't pass now. So now it's on qreqorek to take an action, and if he summons one of his 2 units, it's dead to the swordsman. That's the
Sure.
so like I don't know how he gets the damage in.
He's gonna just turn the Peacock down. So he's obviously the Golden Veil is not going to come into play here round one.
Well,
With
yeah. Now that he knows that there's no more targeted effects,
mm-hmm.
he can spend the snake to do that.
So the thing is you still got. I guess you can't summon the Lioness because you got 1 divine die left, so you can't pump the Lioness with divine. So his outs really are, and actually he can't Nature's Ping either because of the 2 dice left. So he's in a really precarious place here. Which is why I still think like the best play would have been to go ahead and Nature Ping the Peacock and force that Swordsman to attack and exhaust out. Before you bring in the Lioness and the Frostback Bear. I just think that would have given you a safe bear and a safe lioness that you could have killed the swordsman with that way. Because he would have had to have attacked with the swordsman at that point. So he's giving up on one of the units here to put 1 damage on. Yep. There we go. Tough situation. But I guess the lioness can still attack the swordsman, and then you can Nature Ping to finish the swordsman
the
here.
lioness is going to die to swordsman attack here. I'm almost certain.
Or get exhausted, because you could safely protect the swordsman at this point.
So he wants to Hunter's Mark the knight, which I find kind of interesting because he could just put the exhaustion on the knight. I guess this way there's no damage back to the swordsman.
Correct. That's what I'm getting at. Is you just kill the knight and you exhaust the lioness.
Yeah. The Hunter's Mark swordsman thing is pretty good.
Yep, pretty good. Okay. So fundamentally, I think there was a couple of play mistakes here in round one from qreqorek, because I think that if you were going to Nature's Ping that bear, I mean, like at this point, like you would have been better off to Nature Ping the bear.
I'm not sure. So the only thing that he did that I disagreed with was attacking with the Grave Knight right away. The rest of the time, I think he was like, it was pretty much going to end in this situation. Other than that, but if he, I don't know what happens if he leaves the Grave Knight back, because then maybe Carl doesn't summon the Frostback Bear right away. I mean, ultimately, if the Grave Knight attacks into just Frostback Bear, it's going to put some damage on it, but it just died to 1 attack anyway, so it doesn't like make a big difference.
Right. I mean, the difference would be nearly meaningless, at least in these early stages where you know the life on the Phoenixborn doesn't matter yet, but because you'd still get the 1 from the overkill from the Grave Knight, but you're right, you would have had remove the Frostback Bear.
Right. I think most likely there's no way to predict how that would have ended up because Carl would not have summoned Frostback Bear that early in the turn into the untapped Great Knight.
Sure.
So then the turn would play out completely differently. But that was like the only thing he did that I really disagreed with, I guess.
Right.
And it still could be fine to attack for 4. It just 4 damage for 3 dice doesn't seem great. I guess it was 4 damage and save one of your like he did have to spend an attack on it.
Sure.
Though it was like an easy attack.
Yeah, definitely with a battlefield of 5, qreqorek didn't want to have a full battlefield, he said, which I understand that sentiment for sure. I just think
right.
that
When qreqorek's right that like at the end of round 1 he could having dice for Frostback and Lion didn't matter because he was full up.
Yeah.
Um,
yep. We might see the Hydra come into play here with Massive Growth. This is certainly a deck that can take advantage of the Hydra combo.
I would be really scared of doing that against the Herald deck. Like,
yeah, it would be
even if he like imagine even if Master was a side action or something. So let's say he sticks a Hydra and a Massive Growth.
Mm-hmm.
Like Carl still just hunts his Lioness or something and attacks it and taps your guy with Swordsman. Like,
yeah, that's very true.
having the mark and the Swordsman up makes big units really bad here.
Law of Grace is probably not turned on in this matchup. I wouldn't suspect we would see that. We saw qreqorek look at his discard pile, I'm assuming. Yeah, Warrior saying versus Hero Kenny to go all big units or none at all. I don't disagree with Warrior's statement on that. You can make this Wing Lioness a 6/6 with Massive Growth. And but that's
and it still just gets tapped by Swordsman. That's the problem.
Sure.
It's like the Swordsman can attack Raptor for Christ's sakes and still just kill your Massive Growth.
I think you really needed to be prepped for a Sword of Virtue round 1, but how do you deal with a Sword of Virtue against a Golden Veil? You have to put pressure on using the Golden Veil somewhere else.
But there was just no way that he was going to get the Golden Veil out without Sword. That's the only thing that I think Carl would counter.
The other thing you can use Sword of Virtue for against the Swordsman where you get an exhaustion from Swordsman is to untap your unit. That is one function of the Sword of Virtue. That's the other side of that card, which is a good way to counter the Sonic Pulse from Sonic Swordsman. But staring down a double bear board now, Carl's does not have Massive Growth, so we're not going to see these bears get buffed or any kind of crazy shenanigans like that. We do risk, qreqorek's board does risk a Nature's Wrath, as pointed out by chat here. Warrior points that out. So we'll see what qreqorek's answer is here with Carl going first. I don't think Carl is in any hurry at this particular point to make an attack with his board.
Yeah, qreqorek playing around the Nature's Wrath here, it looks like, by attacking with his 1 toughness guys.
I think so. We'll see here what...
And you get the Raptor while it's still active.
Yeah. What did Carl do? Oh, Carl summoned a bear to start?
He just made bear, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So we're just going to see all 3 guys go into Herald straight. I'm sure we'll see the Swordsman block the Hatchling. That does put the Swordsman in an interesting place, though, with 2 damage on it. Like, you could spend your...
I don't think the Swordsman's going to block Hatchling.
Yeah, I don't... Because I guess that does open you up, right? Like, potentially...
I don't think he's going to block the other dudes. I think he's just going to leave his bears open, like, and take the damage.
He blocked with the Swordsman. The Swordsman has alert. You might as well block.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying he won't block with the bears. He's going to take the other damage.
Right. Yeah. I just meant you could save 1 point of damage by blocking the Hatchling, but it does risk that your Swordsman's now within Enter the Fray. And Carl is going to add a bear in here to that Hatchling. It looks like maybe.
That's interesting.
Guess he values that two life over, an unexhausted bear.
Well, I mean, it's interesting I guess he wants to use the bear. Uh, like you want one of the bears to die, so in round 3 you can summon another one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
So I think qreqorek's in a really good place here again to either force a bear attack with another Lightbringer, or do some other sort of shenanigans. Obviously, the Enter the Fray is not going to trigger on Swordsman, so I think one of the things you have to take advantage of is the Winged Lioness stock ability and forcing the Golden Veil to protect from the natural ping. So you only spend.
I don't know. I mean, if that's what he's going to do, you just spend Divine Power and attack for
Sure,
3, so you can't
that's a good point as
Lioness
well.
it. But I think the Lioness is probably going to die before it, because Gregorek's turn was attack with men. Now he's passed to Carl.
Yep. So get a meditate from Carl. Second swordsman in the bin. That puts one swordsman left in the deck. Here's a hollow. He's going to roll that natural die down.
Interesting.
Leaves the divine power up, so doesn't see the lioness or doesn't care about the lioness buff attack for 1 die to kill the swordsman. I guess he doesn't think Gregorek's going to do that just because he would take 4 damage in return. But I still think that might be your best play here if you're trying to regain control of this board. Because
I'm looking to see what Carl has that would indicate he would play that way. I don't know. It seems like right now I would use my Lion Power attack Swordsman is what I would do.
Yeah, that would be the same play I would make here.
Because even if you get attacked back or whatever, like you're just getting attacked for more by leaving the Swordsman in play over the course of the round.
Absolutely.
Plus
losing another unit on the board.
You might literally take less damage this round if you don't do that here. But I think you will have no creatures left at the end of this round if you do that.
I agree. So don't see the divine power.
Or he chooses to do something else.
Yep. Just gonna put 2 out there. I don't know. He doesn't have he doesn't have a side actionable play here, so he must be planning to meditate again. Really wants that natural ping back. I think I would have definitely taken my side action here with.
Well, I think. Yeah, he's going to meditate. Okay.
Okay, so Gregorek believes that if he kills the Sonic too early, that he's going to get shepherded to bring the swordsman back. But that's already something that could happen anyways to second swordsman. So I don't think that's a correct play, Gregorek. Just because if Carl plans to bring swordsman back, he's going to bring swordsman back anyways. So
right, what Gregorek is saying is that depending on how the turn plays out, he might be able to get it back, but not play it this round.
Sure.
Which is possible. I guess if the swordsman in Carl's deck is like a removal tool, so he may not attack with it until Gregorek
well, Carl just committed the swordsman and the hollow. So
okay, so Carl's playing around the it dying stuff.
At this point, my only opinion on that is just that why take that 3 at all? Then just if he wants to spend 4 dice to recur a swordsman, because that's still a play he can do right now, even if this swordsman doesn't die, right? So
I think it's fine. I think that Carl attacking with those 2 units indicates that Gregorek's play was good.
Okay.
Because what was the problem with the swordsman is the threat of it 2-for-1ing you off the hunter's mark.
Sure.
And that has gone away now.
Sure.
To the best of Gregorek's ability. Because like we talked about earlier, like just playing Hydra doesn't do very much.
Correct. I don't disagree with
I
that
guess
line
he
right
could
now.
like play Hydra and Root Armor, and that's a little better. Uh, because the Root Armor is you know good-ish against the mark.
There's the Lightbringer, so that's going to force this Lioness to attack. So the Lioness is going to attack Bear, um, and then natural ping the Bear away. I like this attack.
Yeah,
Um,
that seems fine. It stops an attacker that's or can still attack.
mhm. No, I think Carl's line was perfect, leaving that way. Um, that's why I feel like you don't want to leave that swordsman up if you have an out to kill it, and you just force your opponent to spend 4 dice to put another swordsman in play. Um, because now Carl's options are a lot more vast if that swordsman lives, right? Like, and there's the shepherd. So again, he's going to just make the play anyways, regardless of the swordsman that's in play or not. And that to me is why you should not take that 3 damage, because if you're going to take 3 damage at all, um, you might as well take it off the one that he spent 4 dice on this round versus the one that he spent 3 dice on in the previous round.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it was fine. I think it was fine because for two reasons. One, it did force Carl to use that Sonic without the immense advantage it gains from Mark plus Sonic ability.
sure.
And if he doesn't have the Shepherd, which is like your hedge is so much better. Like if he doesn't have the Swordsman, all you've done is traded 3 damage on your life total for like not getting wrecked by the Swordsman Mark combo that turn. So
Sure.
he did have the Shepherd, so it turned out less good than it could have been. But I think in hindsight, like after some analysis, Gregorek's play was actually pretty good. Because like you said, there's nothing you could do to stop the swordsman anyway.
Right.
So getting one swordsman to come to face with the possibility of him not having the shepherd as an out, like
Well,
is better than what would have happened
here's
the other way
here's my
around.
only, and again, I know we're hanging up on it a little bit, but there's some tactical nuance here, and I want to be clear about why I think this decision may be incorrect. But the main thing is that you used up your other wing lioness at this point as well, so you no longer have a stock unit. So now opponent's PB can block. So any unit you put into play at this point can protect the swordsman, the second swordsman, right? You're definitely not going to kill this second swordsman at this point. So you're going to get swordsman no matter what at this point, at this particular juncture of the game, where
Right. So that's why Gregorek's play is good, is because if he has the shepherd, he's always under the swordsman gun. If he doesn't have the shepherd, then he's better off.
sure. But I mean, I think you just have to assume the shepherd was going to be there, right? So
No, I mean, you make the decision that like like you're just hedging, right? Like I don't think either decision is right or wrong necessarily. They just have different upsides,
mhm.
right? Like because you don't know if he has the shepherd. Like it's this if he has the shepherd, this if he doesn't have the shepherd. And I think Gregorek left himself pretty good if he
So
didn't have the shepherd, but it turns out he did. That's the like Carl still has only drawn like 40% of his deck.
sure,
It's not guaranteed he has one or two shepherds.
sure. Um, well, let's talk about where you're what Gregorek's facing here now, because
He's still facing a swordsman and a hunter's mark, which is just a bad
which
feeling.
is why I think you got a massive growth your bear here.
What
Uh,
does that do?
well,
It makes him hunter's mark the peacock and attack peacock.
yeah, I mean that's exactly right. It keeps the bear alive another round, so you establish your board.
It doesn't keep the
Um,
bear alive another round.
why not?
It taps the bear and then he attacks it with peacock and shepherd, and the bear will be dead when the massacre falls off. I think.
No, Peacock and
He has
Shepherd are only
a
worth 2, so
but he has a frog ping also.
he'd have to frog ping for sure. But I think you could easily Odette a Shepherd here or Odette a Lightbringer and force the Golden Veil play at the minimum, and you still have your own frog ping to take away one of those attacks to keep the bear alive. So I think you have outs. Like if we're talking about trying to play to outs, the best out is to force the Shepherd into something like the Lightbringer, or the Swordsman
I
into something like the Lightbringer.
I think that I would rather spend my last 4 dice on men.
But he doesn't
Uh,
have. He has a Lightbringer left and a Hydra.
yeah,
So if he plays a Hydra, he can't play the Massive Growth. So he's going to
right.
have a one
I'm
attack
saying
Hydra.
don't play. I'm saying don't play massive growth. I think
Sure.
you just need men in play. And the Hydra plus the Lightbringer specifically is actually pretty good because you can like block with the Hydra and get some damage on it to pump it up next turn.
Only if he attack. Yeah, I mean you have to leave. You have to hang a damage on that Hydra, right? And I think the Hydra has recover on it without a head.
I don't think it does. I think the heads give it recover. Maybe that was the old way.
No, the heads gave it recover in the old way for sure. I'm gonna look that up really quick because I don't remember. I swear that
it has recover 0.
Okay.
It's a 1/4 recover 0. The head gives it a 1 attack and 1 recover.
Okay, that's what happens there.
Yeah. So I think playing Hydra and then playing Lightbringer is probably what his last 4 dice will be, unless he like really values the root armor. Because which I don't think you do with the Swordsman markup. I guess Swordsman mark doesn't actually kill the Hydra with the root armor on it, but comes damn close.
The you can Odette your Hydra even with a root armor on it to get a head on it right away.
Yeah, qreqorek saying he's considering ping my own bringer
and play Massive Growth on bear in this moment. Yeah. I think that makes also decent sense, qreqorek, just because then the Sonic Swordsman can't attack. You can't. There's no Sonic Pulse value. But I think you're leaving yourself in a pretty nasty place just with 8 health left.
I think that's like the ping your own Peacock and make the Massive Growth is much better than play just Massive Growth.
Yeah.
And Carl having only Snake Frog left, essentially his only play is Mark now.
So he
like
decides
that's like the end of his turn.
Decides to growth the bear.
Okay.
And what's the side actually going to be then? I also think you just have an opportunity with Enter the Fray here to force that Golden Veil play.
I don't think that you would Golden Veil it and Enter the Fray here on anything.
No, but I mean, but that then you're kind of you're winning a little bit there too by getting the removal off, right? Like,
I guess if you don't like, that's like a punt play, right? Where you're like giving your opponent the next real action, because you're just killing a 1/1 probably, or like finishing off that bear.
But I doubt you'll finish the bear because I think your life is starting to become a valuable resource here when you're staring down, an opponent's board that's got 5 units on it to your 2. You're just staring down the barrel of enough damage that I don't know if you can just willingly take another 2 damage right here, because that might put it within reach for Carl.
This is why I think that the
we're just all in on bear now.
Okay, that's interesting. That was a line that I hadn't considered, but is actually very interesting.
So he's gonna mark the bear. Yeah, he's gonna mark the Peacock. So that's you're correct on that thinking.
Yeah, this is what I thought was going to happen as soon as he played Massive Growth on anything, was just exactly this. And
so one out that could have been here that didn't exist was a Sword of Virtue out, because you could have made this investment if you'd still had 2 dice up and gotten your Massive Growth bear back.
Right. It just attacking for 6 here. It doesn't matter. Like it just means nothing because Carl has so much board advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, the bear with the root armor is interesting because it saves the bear from the remaining little guys on Carl's field.
Right.
So like he's going to take 2 to the face from this peacock and this shepherd. I guess in one way or another, that was enter the fray.
Mm-hmm.
But it won't kill the bear, so he'll have a 2/4 armor 1 next round, for sure. Because I don't think there's anything in Carl's deck for 1 snake and 1 frog that kills this bear in this situation.
I think qreqorek's got to just go ahead and make units at this point. I guess he could go into Polarity Mage, just to get a Polarity Mage on the field, but I don't think he's.
I think just making Lightbringer is fine. It's the same as Polarity Mage, and Polarity Mage, like the only thing that would make Polarity Mage better is if he thinks he needs to draw more cards to draw outs, but he has the option to discard the Polarity Mage anyway.
Anyways, yeah.
But I think that the Polarity Mage has some value.
Polarity Mage has value.
The massive growth is going to fall off.
Right, Polarity Mage has value to get massive growth back on the next round, for sure. But doesn't play the Peacock here. It doesn't play a Lightbringer.
So he leaves up the Lion. Interesting. I guess he's worried about battlefield size.
Yeah, I mean, potentially that could be true. I still think you play. So he's going to ditch the.
He discarded the Polarity Mage anyway, which I think is fine. Like, okay. So this is really interesting now, because I've seen some good meteors in my day, but this might be
the best meteor of all time. Going first.
I don't know about all time, but it's going to be pretty damn good, I think.
It's got to be pretty solid, right? Because your bear's going to take 1 damage off this meteor.
But he could also do it for just 2. Like, it's not going to kill the swordsman either way, and the swordsman is still dead to attacking bear even at 2.
Mm-hmm.
So if he could spend lion and class on it.
Or
he has the Nature's Wrath also, so maybe it's good to meteor for 3 and then Nature's Wrath. But
I would think so, because you would imagine Carl's going to throw out another Lightbringer and force this bear to attack. Right? Because that would force the bear into the swordsman at that point.
Well, yeah, I think Lightbringer from Carl is a pretty obvious play, but
I think you got
he has that at any time in the.
I mean, it just has to be the best card, right?
I would play Nature's Wrath first. Yeah.
Okay. So you follow you follow that lineup. Okay.
Because the Nature's Wrath kills all the same units that the meteor kills.
Sure.
And you save the meteor for if he summons Frostback Bear or something additional,
Makes
bigger
sense.
than 1 for later.
Yep. I can get behind that line of play. That's a good line of thinking.
If it was going to kill the swordsman, like, then the meteor's better, I think. But because it doesn't, like, the meteor is still lethal to the swordsman in the same amount of time. Just you might pick up a bear or something with the rest of the meteor.
Right.
And one of the ways that qreqorek wins this game is getting to summon Hydra before he meteors.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you can put a Hydra into play here, I mean, I don't know.
I guess because the swordsman is still in play, the Hydra is still not very good.
Yeah, I think you have to be on Odette could be on Enter the Fray, but I think you're just going to get Golden Veiled on that.
Well, yeah, anything that kills swordsman, I'm sure will get Golden Veiled. That's why Meteor is especially good right now.
One thing that would be really solid about that, though, is, I mean, unfortunately,
he doesn't have a divine whatever thing, right? No. What's that card that prevents all the damage and heals it?
Angelic Rescue?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he doesn't. I looked. But that it's something he could potentially have and would be insane.
So there's the Lightbringer. We knew that was going to be the play.
Yep. which is fine. Like we, the Lightbringer is going to eat this bear at some juncture of the turn.
The interesting thing about this particular decision right now is, um, I don't think the swordsman is going to take any damage here, but you attack the swordsman and force that decision into Herald block early. Um, I would nature ping the Lightbringer, but I mean maybe that's
Why?
I don't know, just to have it cleared. But I guess if
You're
you're
going
playing
to
on
meteor at some point in this game.
yeah, it's one less.
Some
It's
point
one less damage. I think that's the only thing. Right, the health is becoming an issue.
I don't think one power die for one life is good enough here.
Fair enough.
So he's attacking swordsman, and this is the Herald block. It looks like. Oh wait, maybe not. Maybe he attacked Herald.
No, he targeted the swordsman.
Okay, there it is. I didn't see the Herald immediately tapped, so yeah, that just what you said. Attack swordsman, Herald blocks, takes 2.
That's what I think, Warrior. And he does nature ping the Lightbringer.
I guess he thinks Power Dice is worth 1 life. Maybe it will be.
I agree with you, Warrior. Like I think you could also, if your plan was before Lightbringer comes out, you could nature ping swordsman, enter the fray swordsman, and force the Golden Veil before you meteor. I mean, you just get that Golden Veil out of hand.
Right. I don't know how many cards are left in
so there's a Magic
Gregorek's
Siphon
pile. So I don't know if Carl has put him on meteor here or not.
Yeah, I can't. Obviously, we don't have a live game to check discard piles and things of that size.
Maybe if Carl's in chat, he can tell us if he has
12 cards in discard,
having the
4,
single
16, 19. There should be 10 cards left in Carl's deck because I just saw the hover over.
I'm talking about Gregorek's deck, but so if you're in chat, Carl, did you put him on meteor in this situation? I guess it's pretty safe for you to play around it since you're so far ahead right now. Yeah, so you did. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see your discard count here. You got 5 cards, 8 cards, plus whatever's in discard. So if there's 12 in discard, 10. We just saw the 10 pop up there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and Carl had him on the meteor anyway, so it didn't matter how many were left. Carl was already playing around it.
Yeah. I feel like you had time at this point to not play meteor yet. To your point, you could have gone ahead and played the Shining Hydra. Because if he wants to commit the swordsman at that point, like the swordsman is no longer a threat for you for the round. I think you were still in good shape here, but yeah, he has to summon a unit before I do. Either he meteors 1 unit or gets 2 for 1. Yeah.
Yeah, if Carl's playing around it, it's never gonna like get what he wants anyway. So he might as well have killed the thing.
Yeah, I mean, he can only downgrade it with Magic Siphon, so he'd have to play another Magic Siphon this turn. Is that what you were worried about, Qreqorek? Was just the chance that there'd be another?
Oh, I see what he's saying. Yeah. I think with Carl playing such that he's not going to summon another unit until Qreqorek does, he has to just use Meteor as a removal spell for Sonic, which was essentially the plan from the beginning of the turn. He was just hoping to get something extra out of it, but Carl played very well to prevent that.
So in that exchange, why not Meteor out of the gate, and then Nature's Wrath is just really good?
Because you don't know that Carl's going to play that way. You only have 1 Meteor in your deck. Carl has to put you on it.
Sure.
And Carl being very good did. That's awesome. That's just high level play. But it's still the correct play to Nature's Wrath first. Because even if he's worried about the dice downgrade or whatever, the Magic Siphon wasn't in play at the time that at the beginning of the turn, so he didn't know he had to play around double Magic Siphon or whatever.
Well, there's only 1 Magic Siphon. That's
Right, but
Yeah,
he's worried about the of like the next turn, Carl just going Magic Siphon, turn your dice down because there's 3 Magic Siphons in Carl's deck.
sure. I don't know how many are in the discard pile. That would have been something I would have probably checked because I didn't watch him go by on Meditate, so I don't know for sure.
Right. Uh,
0 in discard. Okay,
right. Especially with 0 in discard, like you have to fire the meteor off.
agreed. I don't disagree with that line.
Because 2 dice kill the swordsman is still a fine rate. It was like pseudo 3 dice because he had the Nature's Wrath. That Nature's Wrath was so good to begin with that it kind of like it definitely got its value.
Absolutely, I agree.
So I think that was a very good exchange for qreqorek and well played by both players to get to that state. But yeah, I was gonna say I assume Carl has a shepherd for one of these swordsmen.
Yep. Just getting those swordsmen back.
Yep.
Round over round.
Because that's what his deck does, right? Like it's Hunter's Mark plus Swordsman deck.
So I think at this point, though, if you're qreqorek, don't you just play Massive Growth on your Winged Lioness and force Carl to play that Swordsman or hold it? Because if he plays because if you play Massive Growth, then Carl can't really put the Swordsman down because the Lioness will just stalk it, and the Bear and the Shepherd can't kill the Lioness, right? Like they just can't. So they can kill it post round, but you don't care about that at this particular juncture. Like if they just attack in the Lioness, you just don't counter.
I think. Well, if he marks it, the 2 of them together can kill Lioness.
Yeah, but you still have a ping up, so you can still ping off that Shepherd.
Right. I think Massive Growth on it is fine. I would. It feels like he wants to make another Frostback Bear.
But you can still do that, even if you Massive Growth the Lioness here. You just force him to hold that Shepherd or that Swordsman.
Right. You can't ping if you do the Bear line.
No, that's true. You commit to Massive Growth now, then you're not guaranteed to play Bear at that point, but you still are guaranteed to play a Lightbringer with your Divine Die.
Yeah, Lightbringer is pretty low impact on this board. Okay, so
just gonna go at the Bear.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is fine.
Bear down. Bear down.
They just trade summons, but he still has his Bear to summon.
Bear Lightbringer, yeah, ping feels okay. I agree, and you still have the Odette enter the fray ability, so you still can potentially, with Herald blocked out, you can still potentially kill this new swordsman by playing Bear and Lightbringer. And
the Lightbringer. I guess the Shepherd being in play is rough because the Lightbringer doesn't auto tap the swordsman.
Yeah. So he's just going to roll both up to play the swordsman.
Right. He doesn't need to kill any. Like he can't stop him from summoning Bear. And so it's low value to change one dice on his side into basic class.
But that's going to punch that Shepherd.
That's good because that makes the Lightbringer active here.
Yep. Does put a double exhaustion on Frostback Bear with Root Armor. But I think that's okay. So you met up, make a Lightbringer, right? That's got to be the best line of play here.
I think so. I'm not sure. It's still pretty bad against the swordsman. Like, oh no, it's not. You can Odette chump. No, I guess he has mark left, so you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with Herald still having the mark available, you're not going to be able to chump. So you might as well throw the Lightbringer out there and see if Carl wants to put 3 damage to face versus not, but then that just throws a Lightbringer in front to double exhaust bear. Um,
Well,
so he's
if
gonna pitch.
If Carl attacks face with swordsman, it's going to be really good for qreqorek.
I think it's the same, isn't it?
No, because he gets to massive growth the peacock and attack the swordsman.
No, the Master Growth got pitched for Med.
Oh, never mind.
So he's gonna just attack the Lightbringer and double exhaust the bear.
Yep, that seems fine.
Carl's gonna go first top of the round. So whatever unit you put out here, I mean, that's obviously going to be the bear.
Has to be Frostback Bear.
I suppose you could stick one damage on, like, one carryover damage on the swordsman for going into the next round. That might be okay over just 2 damage to the face. No, he just does 2 to the face though.
Yeah, with the meteor gone, I don't think there's an effect in his deck that cares the difference between 4 and 3.
Well, I just figured it would give your bear. I know you're not going to go first, but if you roll divine power, it gives your bear the inherent power in divine dice just to be able to kill the swordsman if you leave 1 damage on it. Whereas now, or a winged lioness for that matter, later in the round.
It would have to be winged lioness because, like, he has a
because Herald could just block
a herald block.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking at the deck list here.
I mean, the life totals are very tight for sure right now.
There's no way that a Sword of Virtue hits.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think you just have to. If you draw a sword, if qreqorek draws a sword here, you just have to use it to untap your Root Armored Bear, I think. But that's
just any unit that you have that's tapped.
No sword gets drawn. Close combat's interesting here. Blood Chains is also interesting with the bear.
No, it's not. But we were just talking about how sword would never hit. Neither of those removal spells are ever going to hit.
Well, I think you can. What's the order?
Oh, we got a Streamlad pull.
Yeah. So it finally popped up. I only started it at the start of the stream. Too late now, Streamlabs. Thanks for that. I don't know what the issue was with that.
Also, don't a bunch of people already know who wins this match? I'm just the only one that doesn't.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, qreqorek. That I think discarding Hydra is fine there, because obviously you want sword. I don't. It's just so rough when you know he has at least 1 Golden Veil in hand, and obviously has all your units on lockdown with the swordsman thing. Yeah, Warrior, no spoilers. I still don't know who wins. This game is close. It's been really cool, actually. This is a really interesting turn. I'm sure it is for them too. They're both in the tank here.
For sure.
Knowing that your opponent doesn't have the Molten Gold, you get to play real fast and loose with the end of your life total. So
right. So the interesting thing about close combat is if you close combat the sword, the Sonic Swordsman, it puts a little pressure on Carl to decide on that because if he Golden Veils it, your bear doesn't take any damage because the Golden Veil cancels the effects of the card. And the wound token from close combat is the last line of text on the close combat.
Sure, but I mean, the bear being a 2/2 as opposed to a 2/3, like, who cares? He has swordsman.
George, I don't think Carl is. I don't think Matt is posing as Carl through this match at all. I think Carl is playing an excellent game, and Gregorek's doing everything. But Carl's been keeping him on his back heel for most of this game.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for Grigorek that he's playing this like very battlefield heavy deck against the swordsman hunter's mark thing. Like that just puts you so far behind from turn one.
So
okay, so here's the blood chains.
He's just gonna force that Golden Veil out.
Right. If there's some wacky way that he doesn't have a Golden Veil, okay.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Warrior. So we saw main action, no side action unit play. So I believe you are correct. This will be a GG at this point, just from the Lightbringer force bear attack.
Right, because because he won't have a main action to play that
right
other thing.
My divine power while bumping down his frog. What would the frog do here, Carl? I guess I don't see that line mattering where the Lightbringer magic siphon, like just make Lightbringer and you win, right? Regardless of the outcome, because even if you bump down the frog and make a divine power, okay, that's cool. Make a Lightbringer. Yeah, the Lightbringer will get you here for sure. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. I misunderstood what you meant. I thought you were on with us talking about this line, but you're saying no, even if he does make a unit.
He's saying if he had another unit to play.
Yeah, bump down the frog and go. Yep, I totally get it. So that makes sense. Yep, that's going to be the GG. So congratulations, Carl. Moving on to the semifinals. Will season 1 champion make it all the way to the finals tonight, guys? This season, or is he going to get hung up in semis? We'll find out probably next week on that for sure. So great game from both players, Qreqorek and Carl. Thank you so much, Qreqorek, for recording this game. Gave us a opportunity to put it live on stream for everybody to watch, and I can't thank you enough for that. I think there were a lot of really interesting decisions that could have been made in this game, and I don't know how those outcomes change, obviously, in any one given circumstance. But I felt really, really tightly played by both players, and a lot of fun to watch. And Odette is one heck of a Phoenixborn, but Golden Veil is a tough card to beat. So not unless you got some wolves to help roll that down.
That was a very interesting game for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
It was really cool.
So we were going to get started here with game 2. That'll be in about 20 minutes or so. So just hang out with us here. We can talk a little bit about this game, get some insights from the players. But I feel like yeah, it was really interesting all the way across the board. I think you just had a couple of different places where I think I would have tried to be aggressively getting rid of those Golden Veils because you can out remove him essentially with Odette.
I don't know that you can in this list. He has 2 blood chains and I guess 3 swords, none of which he drew. But I don't think he was gonna Golden Veil essentially anything else.
All right, so we're getting started already here with looks like Bill or Philly's dropping a Frostback Bear. I got to get in with Neil on our chat channel here. Hopefully I'm still in it. Okay, yeah, we are. So one Earthquake gone on the Meditate is a big deal for sure. We get a double Meditate. These guys are playing fast here. We got a Power Through that went by. 4 cards went by here for Meditate. So these guys are going at it fast already here. Yeah, I like Chain Creations a lot too, Mad. So we get Ceratosaurus Mount down. So Bear versus Ceratosaurus Mount. I brought this question up in Discord chat a few months back, like when's one right and the other one wrong, and it's really hard to get a good answer on that.
Yeah, I don't think there is an answer to that, right? Like, for one, there's no reason a deck can't play both.
For sure. I would be
and
really
two,
curious.
they do very different things. Like,
absolutely. So here's a choke and to stop that Cole Slash for round 1. That's pretty punishing if Cole was planning.
How many
on
chokes does he have? Just the one? Okay.
Yeah,
it's interesting to me that he committed it round 1.
So Bill lost gold, Power Through, and 100 Blades. Thanks, Cam. Appreciate that. We were chatting and bringing the stream up. So Polarity Mage into bringing back that Power Through or the Fade Away.
No.
Okay. All right. Brings back a Fade Away.
That's my favorite Polarity Mage. Look at the value. Oh my god.
Yep. Polarity Mage and Fade Away into
driving straight through Value Village.
Neil's favorite, Value Village on the bus.
Yeah, because he still has a card to get back with it after the Ceratosaur dies, if he wants.
So Bill
or
drops,
he can save it for next round and get the thing back again.
Sorry, guys, we're trying to keep up. They are playing very fast right now. So Salamander Monk comes down on Bill's side. Still side action left from Bill. Passes back to Philly. I'm sorry, Philly to Bill. My goodness. And then here comes the turn 1 Celestial Knight to the Root Armor.
Yep, I thought that was very probable in the first 5. Because you can't... I don't think you can start Celestial Knight without Root Armor against Earthquake.
I agree.
I
agree. So
this obviously makes the Earthquake really awkward.
Yeah, I mean, because you really...
And I agree with you there, Matt, about the choke. I don't know exactly what his first 5 looks like how many dice he has left over or what the value is, but
brought the whole bag of exhaustion tokens for that Salamander.
I might even first 5 it and wait until round 2 to do.
2 dice left, so with the Cole Slash down, it's be curious to see if these two cards were intended to be played here with this first 5, or they were intended to be slash power.
I would still guess that one of them is Abundance.
Makes sense. I would make 100% sense with that dice sitting up.
He has 2 cards left. Let's see what the other one is. Yeah, so I think it's Abundance and one of the 2 other books, probably.
So Cole looking pretty strong on the board right now across from Xander.
Yeah, the double armor knight is rough.
And so Bill is passing main. No need to show all your cards, if you will. The Abundance is a little bit turned off this first round with that choke play. Because the drawing the 2 cards with no dice left means you don't get Cole Slashes out of those 2 cards, which is what the Abundance Cole usually wants to do.
If he has it, he's still going to want to play it. Right here, he's just like baiting the Frostback Bear.
Mm-hmm. So Monk is going to attack. Just take the damage, no counter, I'm sure. Oh, did he counter? No. Okay. I was like, I would not have countered there. Rough pass main. Yeah, you think it is? Because I think he's waiting, right? I guess... I mean, if you come out of round 1 with this board, because you're going to go first on round 2, like, he just comes out of round 1 with this board, right? So he's just going to play Raptor Herder here.
It's interesting to me that he didn't meditate a second time to get the...
Swing for 3 or lose mana. I think it's very possible that we do see the Fester happen here. Like, that's a potential play here.
Yep. He wasted no time grabbing that goat.
Yeah. So good call, Cam, on that. I think I was with you on that. We should have probably forced the 3 attack into the Xander.
Oh, I'm an idiot. We know what that last card is. It's Fade Away.
Yeah. Cole lost a blade there on Meditate. Choke is just so solid against Cole, everybody. But I guess
I mean, it did almost nothing.
right.
It did 1 damage to him. Like he might discard one of these 2 cards now, like he might want to, but he he was playing all his cards to begin with. So this is why I was questioning that earlier choke was like maybe you even put it in your first 5 to tutor it and then don't even play it till
Just
turn 2.
is he gonna
round
go for
2.
the 6 damage to the face here? No, you can't. You can't do that. Can't do that.
That seems bad.
Yeah.
um,
I mean, I think I would just
like
go ahead.
I guess.
Oh, he's gonna do it. He's gonna take all 6 to the
Yeah,
face.
I guess it's fine. Like you have to take a main action. I think maybe you could pass there again.
Well, I think if you were really hesitant about committing the whole team, obviously you don't have another unit for the Raptor hatchling, so you're going to give up 2 damage if you do it that way. But you could just take the herder at Xander face here,
right.
And still leave your
knowing that. I guess it's still good to make the bear. What is this? It's a Nature's Wrath. That'd be weird. Oh,
I don't think Nature's Wrath would be good.
Make
here.
the bear.
Just make the bear. Yeah.
Nature's Wrath would have been great there, actually.
We see any allies end up in the discard pile on Meditate? I didn't see the Xander Meditates. They're moving so fast there at one point. We seem to have settled in.
So he just immediately passed.
Yep.
He
doesn't want to fade away that bear, I don't think. I think he's worried about, like, 3-unit ally. Like,
Well, what is he showing? He's showing Sonic Swordsman?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So you definitely
just now he'll fade away.
Absolutely, you have to, right? So you meditate 1 away. Loses the Butterfly Monk book. Fade the Sonic out. Incidentally, the Sonic can only double exhaust the Celestial Knight here, which is not terrible, but the Cole can just take the block also. So
oh yeah, Cole's definitely blocking that Sonic. So the bear has free reign to kill one of the little guys, but
yep. But Fade Away is so good against Xander because that Swordsman leaves play and can't be returned with Xander ally recursion. So very, very powerful card here on a very powerful.
He wasn't showing the ally recursion anyway.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like, for a future round. Yep, agreed. So he's gonna ping his own Salamander Monk. Cole just down to 9 right out of the gate here. Oh, Salamander Monk goes flying off the board.
He put it back into his conjuration while searching is what happened. That's why he drug it way up there.
Got it. So
yep. So
there's a double pass. That's ending round 1. That was a very quick round 1. These guys are playing really fast. I like the taking the herder plan so it can't be mounted since Bill will be going first here.
Yeah, the herder was the obvious attack there.
I know, everything's just happening so fast. I want to make sure we're trying to catch some of these nuances for players that are watching that are maybe newer to Ashes still. Why would he not just go to face? By taking the herder, you turn off the Ceratosaurus Mount at the top of round 1 without a main action play.
I think killing a unit is better than 1 damage to face, even if there wasn't a Ceratosaurus in play.
Sure. I don't disagree.
That's one of the things about Monk that I.
Well, he made up. They did exactly the same amount of damage to each other in round 1, so it's still just like you said, Cesarette. It's still -5, but I'm not sure that really makes any difference. That double armored Celestial Knight is going to be a problem for.
It's too bad he milled the.
For Philly,
strange copy. I just wanted to see somebody play one.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think it's particularly good. It's funny.
Why not frog ping the herder and save the monk? Well, because I think if you're doing this right, so here comes Polarity Mage back into just more.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, Warrior. That probably is better, actually.
Unless you're just wanting to make sure you have double Salamander up for some reason. I don't know what that reason would be with 1 Salamander book. You're probably better off holding a monk at that stage, but we just get another
I
Cytosaurus.
I think I agree with Warrior. I think that the frog thing at the guy was better.
Yeah.
Because you against Cole, like I think you have to work pretty hard to keep both monks in play.
So the main things that could hurt this Celestial Knight would be Molten Golds in Philly's list at this point, and doing any damage for a Fester turn on. But you're gonna have a 3 attack unit, and what's Bill
Right.
got there?
The knight is like unkillable, essentially.
Well, Philly's got a couple of 3
I guess
attack
you could like
units.
crescendo into Fester.
Right. That's what I was getting at. You have to have like something tricky like that to be able to make that work. We've already seen 1 Fester spent. So 2 Festers remain. We just play the Salamander Monk. Again, now we're starting to see the kind of...
Or it could be Molten Gold plus Crescendo. Any combination of those 3 cards.
It's going to take a lot of
But it's
dice
like-
and a lot of resources to kill the Celestial Knight. Let's just put it that way.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Celestial Knight's 4 dice, 2 cards right now. So spending 3 dice, 2 cards.
Well,
I
you
guess
got
if
to
it's a
discard a card
Crescendo,
for
it's 3 cards. But
Yeah.
if it's Molten Gold plus Fester, it's just 2 cards.
So Ceratosaurus attacks Bear. We'll see if Xander tanks it.
I think he probably does. Let's see. What does he think bad could happen if he doesn't?
I don't know. We're definitely thinking about it. Philly is giving it some serious thought.
If he has a Crescendo, it's okay to just let this go. I think it feels kind of bad to just like. Oh,
Yeah.
but it'll have 2 damage on it, so.
Well, the only thing I'll say
I think that's fine.
The only thing I'll say about that Fallen Cam is without your strength in play, that knight is going to take a lot of Fallen resources to kill. What is up? How's it going, Nick? Thanks. This is game 2. The chat did vote, and I'll show the vote here. I hadn't completed it yet. Sorry, because we got going so fast. But
I think because of the monks, just countering with the bear is fine there.
Yeah, I think so too. He recurred a fadeaway. Carl, another fadeaway. So if Bill or if Philly makes another big ally, he gets to fade that ally away.
Oh, on the realms.
Yep. Neil is not hot on this card, but I think this is a good card in this scenario where you don't necessarily want to take main action. What are we doing? Oh, he's slashing.
He's slashing.
Okay, got it. Just making that earthquake be
I
less
agree
appealing.
that like the one time that it's good is when you want to punt.
Yeah.
But like it, especially in Cole where you want a bunch of cards in hand, it feels kind of bad to like essentially just meditate.
So we're gonna see the Frostback Bear come out. I'm sure here.
So this is really weird to me. That he slashed with Celestial Knight.
I agree. It makes me wonder if he's got another Celestial.
He has he has 7 dice left. Like, what's he gonna do with 7 dice?
And 2 cards.
I guess he could have a Hammer Knight, or not a Hammer Knight. Does he have other knights? I thought he did.
It's just Celestial Knight, I think, in this list.
No, okay. So I guess he could have like Herder into Celestial Knight. No, because he only has 1 Divine left. Okay, so he did have the other Celestial Knight. Okay,
yeah,
that makes more sense.
That makes that last card.
Looking at the list, I think that's the only thing he could have had that would slash with Celestial Knight would be good.
Does he have Shepherd? I was looking to see if
he has 3 Shepherds.
Okay, so we're definitely probably not going to see the end of Celestial Knights here, right?
Well, the one with the root armor on it is just not going to die.
Right.
Oh, good call on that, Carl. He actually didn't return.
He didn't?
With the Polarity Mage, he just forgot it. Philly's letting him just pick it up.
Yeah. Okay, so nice of Philly to allow that to happen. That's just good sportsmanship here out of the top 8 players. Didn't have to do that, obviously.
When they played 1,000 miles an hour, that stuff happens.
Yep. Definitely not a lot of time to consider their plays when they play that fast. You just have to just say like. Well, I sort of feel like I was running a 2-minute drill on a football game there for a little bit. Like, yep. There's a 5-yard out. There's another 5-yard out. First down. Let's go again. 10 seconds off the clock. No time for replay here. One of the things I'm going to work on for future tournaments is some overlays. This is round 2. They just didn't up the token counter. Philly started the game off. Both players did 6 damage to each other in round 1. It was about as fast a round 1 as you can possibly imagine. So we're going to go back to Philly on top of round 3 here. Philly's got a grip of cards and a grip of dice, which has to feel pretty good.
Well, it's hard to say because of the double Celestial Knight, unless one of those is an Earthquake, like
we know one.
I don't know what he can do. What?
We know one Earthquake is gone.
Right.
Through meditation.
Earthquake on the non-root armored one here is still really good because it kills the.
It gets the
dinosaur too.
Yeah. Agreed. Where your Earthquake is good now for sure. It's just a matter of whether he has it.
Other than that, I don't know how he deals with these armored knights. Just in general, he has. I guess Molten Gold is a possibility for the one that's not root armored, or the one that is root armored. Honestly. Yeah, it's kind of tough actually into these Celestial Knights.
Celestial Knight is I think a card that doesn't see a lot of love just because it sits in illusion, and
right. It's if the Xander player has 5 cards in hand, right? So like Phillycheaz is sitting on 5 cards. If he has a knight of his own, either swordsman or hammer, I think he's fine to deal with those things, or an earthquake. Okay, so he's going to share sorrow, which is.
That's going to deal 2.
Okay.
But that's going to get him back a 3 cost, but I don't know what he's got.
Yeah. So she says, wait, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. So I think his best bet is to do it for 2 and get the earthquake back.
Yep.
Oh, he just has an earthquake. Okay, so there's what we were talking about.
So that will kill the Ceratosaurus and clear the Monk Spirits. Brings back the Polarity Mage. We got good value out of Ceratosaurus this round, though, by sniping a Frostback Bear off the board.
Right, the Ceratosaurus is fine. It just, because he essentially got it for free with the Earthquake, it was very good. It made that Earthquake much better.
So the interesting thing here, Alert and Armored is gross for sure. We see that a lot with Hammer Knights and Sonic Swordsmans, right? Where they get root armored and they're just really punishing at that point. It's interesting to me how many people don't want to try to put together root armor later. Like, there's a lot of FF, or one of root armors in decks, but there's not a lot of like second or third.
Just because it's such a bad draw sometimes.
Agreed.
I
agree.
Like what you're saying is when it's specifically good, when you have a very powerful unit to put it on and hold down the fort. It just, if you draw it later in the game, like, it's fine on a bear or whatever, but I mean, what if all you have are like 1/1s?
Sure.
Then it's just bad, like it's not action.
Sure. No, I don't disagree with that. I'm just talking through like the sort of the interesting decisions that happen in
one of the decks
lists.
At least one of the deck lists has multiple root armors in it in the tournament, I know.
I think I played 2 in my Herald list, if I remember right. Just because I had the Polarity Mages to recur them. So even if it got meditated away. I could get it back.
I think it's funny that the player that has the root armor and it's really good is the coal player.
Yeah.
Okay, so second Fester down.
Got to be showing Hammer Knight now. Showing Hammer Knight.
It could still be
showing Swordsman.
Swordsman, right?
So you could
I guess
see.
that takes a horse, or is it a
No,
lion?
it takes a lion. No, it's 2 cards to watch for because of misplay. What was the second card?
But he would have known the
sorrow and Hammer Knight. Yeah. So drops the bear. Bear tickles Celestial Knight here.
I mean, he's gonna make a Frostback Bear. I think this is a fine play.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Celestial Knight's not attacking, so I assume anyway.
It can't at this particular juncture, right? I don't know what.
Not with him having Hammer Knight dice up.
The only thing Bill could still be holding here is Raptor Herder, Anchor Knot, which wouldn't do much other than Anchor Knot with double frog pings, I guess, kills the bear. It's kind of a really slow way to kill bear. But the Anchor Knot is...
Man, Bill needs to draw his Lightbringer book if he doesn't have, if it's not gone already.
Yeah, Lightbringer book
would be really good in this board, I think.
For sure. Could just have...
I imagine the only way we're going to see this knight die is off of Crescendo.
Yeah.
Plus
Crescendo to
Fester or Morton Gold.
Which seems like a pretty big long shot at this point with 2 Festers in the bin. So this is just going to be Hammer Knight play.
See what he leaves back. So he leaves back a ceremonial dice. So he could still have the Fester.
He could still have it.
And the Hammer Knight actually does damage to this.
Yep, so there's the fade away.
The Celestial.
But I just don't think you let... yeah, HK coming out to be faded, absolutely. I mean, that's exactly what you're playing the fades for, right? So I think at this point, Cole's going to tank the hit from Hammer Knight no matter what.
Yeah, he's definitely not letting him put a damage on Celestial Knight if he can avoid it.
So Bear's attacking.
Oh, he's just attacking both.
So I think you just block the bear, kill the bear, take 3.
Now with only ceremonial dice left and his book's tapped out, blocking was what this is, where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It will be very unlikely that he has an additional threat to put into play.
So
and we have Dex, so he actually doesn't have a threat to put into play.
With 1 Swordsman down, 1 Hammer Knight, we still got 2 Hammer Knights and 2 Swordsmans in the deck. So we're not at the end of Knights here.
Well, it's a Xander, so we're definitely not at the end of Knights.
Well, fadeaways remove them from the game, so they can't be Xander.
Oh, I guess they have all been fadeawayed, huh?
Yeah. So we're just going to round 3 here.
Yeah, like I was saying at the beginning, I voted for Xander because it seemed like what he had going on was really good against it, but he didn't. I think the first 5 choke was not good. I think choke is good specifically against Cole, but if you've noticed, he's slashed like 1 time.
Yeah.
Collecting Knights. You just had to know that double armored guy is a possibility and needed to start a just gold or something.
Just the Sarasaurus polarity combo to recur fadeaway is just.
He just discarded the last Fester to draw step.
So he's giving up on that.
So
Crescendo.
His plan is 100% draw Molten Gold and get through for 1.
Yep.
Because obviously this is another way to beat the Celestial Knight is just attack around it.
Feels like Xander can brute force 4 damage. I agree that seems very likely here. That Xander is still favored into this double armored Celestial.
Well,
there are.
I don't think that Xander's going to die this turn. I just don't think that deck.
No, there are no Fire Archers in the Philly list, so Fire Archer is not going to get you there. But 2 Molten Golds, but we lost 1 Molten in the early Meditate, so there's only 1 Molten left in the deck.
Well, if he has a Shared Sorrow.
Shared Sorrow can't target a Phoenix Born, though.
No, but it can get back the molten gold.
Sure, that's true. You just play a Shared
Uh,
Sorrow to no effect to get Molten. Maybe he should have done that last round, but just maybe he was just that inefficient on dice at that particular point. So here comes Fadeaway back for additional night play. We're at 12 cards.
Depending on what's in his hand, it might actually be better to get the other thing this time. We just got the Fadeaway anyway.
Yeah, I think that's just plan of attack here.
I don't think it's possible for him to put out 13 through the books in play. So we're gonna have time for the Xander deck to draw the Molten Gold if it doesn't have it now. And to possibly play a second one or just attack once.
Xander could push to the Magic Siphon here and force fatigue damage. That would also be bad, I think, for Bill.
Well, the Xander's behind on cards right now.
Is he? I think they were equal. 12 and 12. And they're 5 and 5.
Oh, I was looking at the Conjuration pile because he has it up here instead of...
Yeah. That's the last Molten Gold, so now he's going to need the Shared Sorrows. There goes a second Shared Sorrow.
He still has a Shared Sorrow in hand, right? He didn't actually end up...
No, he discarded it. Heading around. Gutama66, man. Thank you so much for the follow. You are awesome, dude. We really appreciate that. The ST. Not sure I'm following you, Cam. ST. So Bill did lose the Butterfly Monk book. Welcome to the Ashes, man. Yeah, for sure. Appreciate
it. Here's a crescendo.
Gonna swipe that Ceresaurus off the deck. And now we're gonna get the Celestial Knight to block. That is going to open up that Salamander Monk for that 1 point of damage.
Yeah, that's rough. I think you have to block there again. Well, no. I think maybe you're supposed to take 2.
Well, I don't think you can take 2 there, because if you take 2... Okay, Shepard's going to bring back another Knight.
Well, you know the Molten Golds are gone. And there's no... And the choke is gone, so...
Right, but he could still Shared Sorrow into a Molten Gold to win if you take the 2. If he's got a Shared Sorrow in that 3 cards, then he just Shared Sorrows to no value.
I guess the Shepherd makes the block better. Because it's going to make sure that he has multiple guys.
Yep. So there's Salamander Monk. I think we'll see that Celestial Knight and see if he's got 3rd Earthquake for that Knight here.
Oh yeah, and if he plays Celestial Egg as Earthquake again, it's oppressively good.
Yeah. Yep. Plays Raptor Herder first. That's an interesting decision. I guess you're just trying to force the Earthquake play before you get...
I guess maybe... Yeah, it just... I guess he wants him to Earthquake is the thought process here.
I agree. He's certainly trying to make that Earthquake enticing, right? Like he's trying to bait the Earthquake out by playing a bunch of little units.
The issue is that this deck also has 3 Nature's Wraths.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, like, the Raptor Herder is very bad there because
no, just take 4 and wait. Yeah. I agree, Warrior. He's under no pressure. Philly is under no pressure right now from this board state. I think that, to your point, the 4 damage is nearly meaningless. Oh, there goes that last Earthquake, folks.
I don't think it matters very much.
No.
So he's playing Swordsman.
Swordsman, yep.
Yeah.
Sonic's good here. Double exhaust that Celestial Knight. No dice for Celestial? Why not?
He doesn't have a Divine up right now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He had to spend it on the
Shepherd.
Ceresaur and the Shepherd.
Yep. So he's going to call. So does Bill run a figures in the fog? That'd be an interesting. He's gonna ping that.
He's gonna do a damage to it, I guess. What does that indicate?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Molten Gold? I can't play Molten Gold.
Nope.
I don't know. So, some attacks.
Could have Steady Gaze up here to double exhaust the swordsman.
There's Steady Gaze in the deck?
Yeah.
Oh, there is one.
There's
Okay.
a single Steady Gaze. Just slash the hand out. You could to kill that swordsman off.
It's going to get its business done before it dies to that.
Agreed. Here it goes.
So he's just attacking with all the men. All right.
Okay.
So we're trying not to kill the monk to prevent him from getting an additional attack. Celestial Knight down.
Swordsman takes another point of damage there, right?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter. Let's see if he...
I'll just...
Yeah, it has no effect on the game.
Yeah. Okay. That is true. That we do have that fade away to get rid of that Sonic here. Interesting enough, Xander actually does show a Hammer Knight right now. He does have the dice to play Hammer Knight here.
Yeah, I think if he has any guy, Bill's in a lot of trouble.
It's going to depend on what those last three cards are for Bill
Even
here.
even Raptor Herder's like very good here.
Um,
I suppose it gets slashed out, so maybe it's not super great, but...
So what was the purpose of putting the 1 damage on the swordsman then, I wonder? What was the plan? There goes Raptor Herder.
He just blocked it. Oh, you mean with the frog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he thought that there was a situation where
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that
he was going to have to slash him out.
Because it could matter here. If you want to forego the fadeaway.
Yeah. It's actually worse for him now because it goes to the discard pile instead of being removed.
Right. So does he have that last fadeaway? If this is... Well, he can't play another night now.
Yeah. I don't know what this last card is. It's probably like... Oh, yeah, Raptor Herder. So, Raptor Herder's going to...
Bill says he should just forfeit, but he's going to play to the bitter end. So Bill feels like he's on his back heel. It makes sense.
Yeah, he has no units in play. And...
he does have the slash with the molten gold.
The old slash the molten gold Raptor Herder.
There's the Lightbringer book.
A little late.
Little late. But if you don't first 5 it, that's, with a 1 of. So I think we'll probably see that last card is a Celestial Knight. I doubt we'll see that get slashed. Maybe he will, but he's Xandering back the...
I think he ceremonial powered it, but...
Mm-hmm. So I think the fadeaway was a little premature there, just based on the way that round turned out. Like,
I think he just had to take a main action was kind of the issue.
Sure. So we're going round 4 here. Nope. 1 exhaust still on night.
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
There we go. I just want to make sure because it's easy to get missed. I have done that through double exhaustion a few times, where I catch myself just, wait, I forgot to remove that exhaustion token. But there was 2. So So we're still at 7-5. So Philly's actually in fatigue
They
damage.
makes a Lightbringer. I think this is a fine play.
Yeah, I think this is like sort of like
Just
saying pass main action, you go.
well, it just time walks him, right? Like he's gonna attack with this raptor and do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Put a 1/1 in play.
Does Bill have a?
Don't block. Why would you block?
Mm, I don't know. Oh, he's asking what he's attacking. Okay. Got it.
Does that
Okay.
matter?
I don't know. So I don't think you'll counter no matter what. It's a 0 attack, right? So
Yeah. No block. There we go. We did
it. um. So the Polarity Mage is a one of, and I think Bill's in trouble now because I think the Polarity Mage got Nature's Wrath last turn. I don't think it was under the Sarasaur, but maybe it was.
It was.
Okay, so he's still got Polarity Mage to bring back Fade Away. Deal with
Right.
another
That doesn't
night.
actually help him.
It does if
because
Xander plays another night and extends your deck pile by
assuming
one.
that he can like actually not die.
Sure.
You're right. If we make it through this round, so this is why I think the fadeaway is probably not very important, because in order for fadeaway to work, he has to already survive,
mm-hmm.
and I'm not sure he will.
Well, so he's got a Celestial Knight in
survive.
Hand. Yeah, he does have a Celestial Knight in hand. There's no more Earthquakes, so Celestial Knight's pretty safe.
Yeah, that's true.
To play at this point, like to make just Celestial Knight into this board, you're in a pretty good place to just like hang out and let that happen. Because your Celestial Knight fights their knights very similarly, so like you can just like start playing Knight. I mean,
well, the Celestial Knight probably beats all of Xander's knights because of Slash.
Sure.
So like they'll fight and neither one will die and they'll be left on one, but he has Slash and Xander doesn't.
No Quakes left, Cam. That's right. Yep. So here we see Polarity Mage bring back. I'm sure the Fadeaway again is what we're gonna see. Yep. So we're just gonna keep this.
Doing this does make more slashes happen.
Well, it extends his deck,
beneficial.
Right? It extends his deck where you're worried about potential fatigue at this point with 7 cards left. You know, you're gonna want to try to outrace Philly from a cards perspective, because I think
I think the current life differential probably makes that really hard, but
I agree. That
I guess if he survives this round,
Lightbringer blocks Monk and kills Monk. Yep.
Yeah, if he survives this round, he's looking pretty good. Because that knight's going to be back then.
Right.
I'm interested if he's going to share Sorrow for Molten Gold. It's
just going to be a question if he has that third Shared Sorrow. I don't know now.
If he doesn't have it literally now, he's going to have it next turn, because the game isn't going to end before next turn.
I just don't know if it went by already, because I can't check the discard, so I don't know if there's 3 Shareds in there or not right now. But it is a critical card here for Philly to finish in this game before fatigue.
Now it doesn't even look like that's very good because he's down several units.
Mm-hmm.
The Molten Gold's only good if he like gets in additional damage.
So gave up on Celestial Knight again this round for Raptor and Sarasaurus.
Yeah, the one issue with the ceremonial dice in his deck is that since he's been using Polarity Mage as the mount, the Sarasaurus costs 2 of the Divine dice every turn. What was the other card he played with Divine this turn?
Polarity Mage.
So what was the other card he played with Divine this turn?
Lightbringer.
Lightbringer, okay. Hey, there's a bear.
We got bears. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Can't commit the Ceratosaurus into Frostback Bear because Xander can just tank that. So he just main action passes back to Philly. I mean, I think Bill wants to just get out of this round as fast as possible.
Here, but
Chaos Theory with that prime sub, dude. You are awesome. Thank you, man. Can't even thank you enough for that. That is super awesome. No, you're good, dude. I'll gladly interrupt.
Sorry for interrupting. No, please interrupt us more with $5.
Yes, thank you. That is super awesome. Yeah, I don't know. It's the Ceratosaurus Frostback Bear is really interesting here because there's a Sonic Swordsman, or was it Hammer Knight or Swordsman? Sonic Swordsman that got killed last round that's back in hand. No, definitely don't mind, man, for sure. I mean, Twitch is very slow on their payouts, but I'll take it when they do come.
If he Xander's the Sonic, he can't play it.
There's the crescendo.
Woof.
Oh, that's guaranteed 2 damage though. Guaranteed 2 damage because you can't block. So
that's all the crescendos though, right?
Yeah, I think so. There's no the other Celestial Knight is not going away at this point, and he pitched a Sonic, but there's probably one more Sonic still in hand if he pitched a Sonic. You have to figure that's true, right? Or you're just going to Xander it back.
Well, you can't Xander and play it because it costs a Divine dice. He's only got 1 Divine.
True. The game is now ruined.
Play all the Hammer Knights.
Hammer Knight. No, we've only seen 1 Hammer Knight, so there could be another Hammer Knight in this pile here too. So you can see Hammer Knight into Sonic and just like continue to pressure. The issue that I see, there goes the shared sorrow.
I guess he could play both Knights, but I assume he has one or the other, right? Like
if he plays both Knights here, he overruns the fadeaways for 1, and overruns Bill's board. So there's Sonic showing Hammer Knight for last card.
Again,
the steady gaze.
So this is a good steady gaze.
Very solid steady gaze. That basically takes this knight out of the game.
So now we'll see if he has a Hammer Knight.
Thanks for that, qreqorek. Appreciate it.
Woof.
He's thinking about it.
It has to be Bear or Raptor too. The others weren't in play yet.
Right, yep. I just didn't know if he was going to let the Raptor die.
So he actually did have Knight as his last 2 cards, which I guess is very likely because there's only 4 cards left in the pile.
Yeah, double Knight and top around, but one of those Knights is not coming back, Cam, because of the steady gaze. This game is going to be over before that Sonic Swordsman comes back into play. You can expect fadeaway on the Hammer Knight.
Knight. So what the Hammer Knight essentially is it kills the
Miss Typhoon,
the Raptor, and the Herder, because he has to block it or die, and then it'll get to ping the other one. So he didn't play the fadeaway.
No, I think that makes
the Miss Typhoon instead.
I think that makes sense. He's going to slash the Frostback Bear away.
Okay.
I think that Hammer Knight's going to eat you up.
This makes the top of round attack not an attack.
So Raptor's going to block.
The Knight's going to kill both parts of the Raptor.
Yep.
And
so you actually could slash. He could slash away his hand. He probably won't, but he could slash away.
Well, he has to have a main action.
True. Well, he's still got side action here, so he's going to let the Polarity Mage go slash that Hammer Knight down.
Okay, so he does. Yeah, see, he had to have a main action in order to slash it to death.
Yeah. I didn't know if there was potentially... I guess he was out of Illusion Die to be able to play an Abundance there finally. Although Abundance is probably not good for you here. There's the Molten Gold. He had it in hand?
It was in the last 4 cards.
Alright, there it is. I thought we'd seen all of the molten golds go by. I didn't realize there was a third
I
molten gold.
I think the molten gold you were thinking of was one in Bill's pile because
Okay.
Bill did meditate a molten gold like very early in the
Yeah.
game.
Recover 2 so knight dies to counter. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very well played, guys. Very well played. All right, so it looks like we got
Well,
some roll offs here that happened. We've got first 5 selected. We didn't get the chance. We were talking too much about wives here, but looks like
I'm missing a dice. He says.
um,
No, he's not.
5. No, he's got all of them. What's his deck list say for dice, just to make sure? 3 ceremonial, 3 nature.
3-3-2-2.
Yep, 3-3-2-2. So we get Lightbringer book from German right away.
I don't know much about marriage, but I assume that losing to your wife at things is good for it.
Probably. At the end of the day, it's probably good. I get
That's
beat,
what the internet tells me anyway. Maybe that's not right.
I get beat in Sushi Go by her a lot. She loves Sushi Go, and I get beat a lot in Splendor by her as well.
Everyone loves Sushi Go.
I know, it's such a great game.
Yeah.
Fun little drafting game. So we meditate a Fire Archer away for German. See the
There's
round
the
1
abundance.
abundance.
I was surprised that we didn't see the round 1 abundance last match.
So we're going to meditate 2, get Shadow Guard and Fester out of the way. I'm going to try to keep track of these meds here.
A lot of the power from the cold deck comes from additional cards in hand. So
absolutely.
I was just surprised we didn't see it last match. Obviously, last match Slash specifically was not a great tool. In this match, is a lot more impactful because he's got like Fire Edger, Flute Mage, Raptor Herder,
here comes
and the Festers.
Salamander Monk. We're going to go ahead and get that abundance out of the way. Draw 2 cards. Gives German back a full hand of cards with a full grip of dice to make decisions off of.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about the early round abundance activation. Like when he's still got 10 dice. I know like his first 5 is probably built around those specific 5 cards. So maybe it's about the same either way, but just feels like giving your opponent
if
the
German
options.
if German doesn't play units here, depending on what those 2 cards are and what Matt's first 5 overall plan is, the 2 cards you just drew could just turn into 2 damage to narrow that gap. And German passes here. That's an interesting decision. I don't know how I feel about that early round pass here.
I think it's fine. I mean, this is why is because like Matt's having the abundance like essentially just
so Matt just played chant into pass.
Right, having the chant made that pass a lot worse for German.
I just can't imagine that this is a place you want to be against.
So
and he only rolls 1 die out of that whole mess. He doesn't want to lose any of those other die. Makes sense, I guess.
Right, because nothing has changed.
Right.
Like neither are going to draw any cards.
That was a really strange first round. Now we're going to get a double abundance right away again from Matt, so we're just burning into the deck for German here. Cole has got 1,000,000 cards. I'm going to see a meditate, and we're going to lose a particle shield.
Damn it. Yeah, I think the pass from German is okay, but not great. When Matt had side action that advanced his board plus pass after that, then it was really bad for German. So, but obviously he didn't have him on the
how do we get the Fire Archer back? Oh, Xander ability. Okay.
Right, Nick. I agree. It was definitely correct for Matt. It was the German that pass that was weird.
Tyrant says it's a pro play to get Matt out of first round. Unheard of. He just wants to master round 2 now. Yeah. Free dice fixing. Yeah, I agree. It seemed pretty strange to make that decision, especially knowing that Matt had Chant in his deck.
Well, right. We didn't know he had Chant in his hand though.
So he's gonna Fire Archer attack Cole. This is an interesting decision. I think you just take the one here.
I think it's fine. Fire Archer does a significant percentage of Cole's life total because he starts so low.
Sure.
And
the Shadow Spirit book.
I think he knows it's going to be a race, so attacking there is leveraging the life differential at the beginning of the game.
For sure. Plus, you still have the ability just to recur Fire Archers ad nauseum with Xander through Xander ability, and also ceremonial power. So in theory, if Matt does block that, you just pay 1 life to get your Fire Archer back to do the point of damage still. So it's sort of a quasi path to victory. So here comes Hammer Knight. So we're gonna get early Hammer Knight.
Right, which was most likely in his first 5.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we don't know that 100% because he's drawn 4 additional cards, but it was probably in his first 5.
Hammer
does he have the root armor?
Hammer Knight is pretty. Yep, there's the root armor. I'm suspecting though that Matt's got the Fester up. So the question will be how to get damage on that.
Right, the Fester is not good through the root armor.
Right,
it's possible, but just not good.
Matt also has a 2 shadows. He could have first 5 that 2 shadows.
The 2 shadows specifically, if he next leveled them to start the 2 shadows against the probable root armor start, that'll just get him super good.
Matt can also just tank this Hammer Knight hit if Hammer Knight does commit to an attack here early, and that's going to be an interesting decision overall because. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to stop our poll. I forgot to stop it because we jumped into the game.
Now people are cheating. They've watched too much of the game.
Completed the poll. Most voted for, 57.14 went to Matt.
What does that mean?
Just that Matt Bauers
7-6?
Yeah, something like that. There's a Lightbringer. Force an attack here. Votes were close for sure, Cam. Very interesting decision now with that Lightbringer. I think you have to slash the Lightbringer out of the way.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's necessary to slash it. You just
rolls down that nature die. Xander takes the 2.
Yep.
Okay.
Playing around the Fester there.
Yep. For sure.
Xander doesn't need to take 2 damage from that. I assume he will in a second.
Yeah.
That'd be really unfair if you could just block with your Phoenixborn and take no damage.
There we go. Got it. So differential is still 5 at this point. Yeah, it's a good Fester threaten for sure. I'm not sure, what Matt's regular first 5 was looking like. Obviously, the herder turns on Chant.
I assume he had Chant and Abundance and Book.
Yeah. I'm assuming the other one was herder, but I just wonder if the other one was also a Hammer Knight. Because he is showing Hammer Knight damage. So, German meds out a Hammer Knight.
Yeah, he likes that early pass.
So the second Shadow Spirit book definitely puts pressure on this knight now and that Fester. I guess that's what maybe Matt was digging for, was that second Shadow Spirit book. Expecting that Root Armored Knight and needing to get through round 1. Even though
Well,
round
if he
2
was
is...
expecting Root Armored Knight, he would have first five the 2 shadows.
Yeah, that's true. Now that Hammer Knight is in trouble, I think Jason has to use that Hammer Knight here, or risk that the Hammer Knight just dies to the Shadow Spirit.
Well, he has another turn to, like, he can let the Shadow Spirit attack,
Sure,
take the damage and counter, and then still use the Hammer Knight
that's true.
before the Fester is
But
possible.
I think you want to try to kill that Shadow Spirit before. I mean, if you can Frog Ping that Shadow Spirit here. I don't know what the other 5 cards.
Right. If he's really worried about the Fester, that's what he'll do. But if he uses the Frog, then he can't make a. Is this bear or?
You still get anxious seeing stacks
he doesn't have bear
Shadow
out.
Spirit Butterfly Monk books. Yeah, I can understand that. Does the Shadow Spirit in your, like, okay, so we're gonna Blood Chains.
Interesting.
Here? All right.
So this leaves up the possibility of Frostback Bear still.
Well, Frostback Bear is in his discard pile. I did see that.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah. There's Frostback Bear from Matt, though. That was his first 5, I'm sure.
Right, which I think was in his first 5, probably.
Bear will also get it done with Hammer Knight here. Matt's sitting on 3 cards and 6 dice remaining, while German is down to 4 cards and 2 dice remaining.
I'm interested in why he changed instead of Frog there.
What would he have that would require that nature die? Unless he just wanted to leave the Frog up for something else.
Well, but that's the thing, though, is like when you look at the list of cards in the Cole deck, there's not a lot. I guess there's like you can't even do it to Shadow Guard.
Yeah.
I guess specifically other Raptor Herder. But there's not really anything else that you would want a Frog.
Yeah, Cam says Rat Herder as well. Starwind, welcome. This is Game 3 of our triple header. Top 8 matchups for Shufflebus Season 2. We've got Matt versus German, Jason at the top. Jason's at the top, Matt's at the bottom. Cole versus Xander. This is our second Cole versus Xander. Xander came out the victor in Game 2, and we'll see how Game 3 works out. Wildly different games so far.
Hello, Starwind Mansell. I see your little wavy face.
All right, so Herder's committed to the Lightbringer.
I'll make a wavy face.
So that's going to be a question of whether he wants to counter and turn on that Chant of Revenge or not. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and do that. Gets our Chant, trigger off, go ahead and burn 1 damage.
Obviously, the Chant is valuable, but it's with Xander's high life total, it's like he should just be removing units.
You can't use Chant on units, though.
Well, I'm just saying he shouldn't be afraid of killing units to put counters on the Chant.
Absolutely. So Matt's passing. We get a double pass. Go to top with that Hammer Knight alive. 2 Shadow Spirits. Yeah, Matt's going to definitely reroll those 4 dice or 5 dice. Again, another early pass, so we're going round 3 already. Matt doesn't
they're keeping track
really well. Matt pulls out 3 basics out of 5 dice. Little below the curve. No power dice other than the 1 power. Still holding for that Fester, I think. Shadow Spirit still got a exhaustion token on it. Okay, there we go. Yep. Xander rolls 6 basics here. That's pretty rough. I know the old 6 basic. Cam, you're inflicting your luck on German here. Yeah, it looks that way, Philly. There's 1 Earthquake buy, 1 String Mage buy. Did we see what the other card was?
I didn't.
Second earthquake, bye. Threatening molten gold. We got molten gold in this list. No molten gold. So the double frogs. I don't know if those are just pings for those shadow spirits.
Frog is just good in this matchup.
Yep.
It could be anything.
So Matt could threaten here with a 3 attack if German doesn't do. Yeah, for sure. For sure, Cam. So there's Flash Archer or Fire Archer again. That takes a point. Differential's 4 still. We're going to slash that Fire Archer away before it gets to attack. So Matt's learned his lesson from round 1 on that Fire Archer. Prep some non-class dice in case Spirit's been down. Yeah, that's for sure. So
he's just coming right at the head here.
I expected that actually, Neil, because it's just really good here. You get a guaranteed 2 damage on the Hammer Knight if he doesn't take all 6. So you either deal 6 or you put a damage on the Knight to turn on Fester.
Right, you put it in Fester range.
Yep. And you knew you were going to take the 3 no matter what, probably from the Hammer Knight just to block. So like you might as well just commit your board here.
Right, and Nick brings up a good point that you need to over meditate to
right. So the Shadow
protect
Spirits
yourself from the Shadow Spirits.
And the Shadow Spirits should turn down 2 dice. I don't know which 2 they turn down.
Oh, this is this ability a May? Like you shouldn't remind him if it's a May.
Yeah, I won't.
Oh, it's not.
Okay, hold on. Since it's not a May.
Oh, he did already.
Okay, just missed it.
Ceremony and Divine Chaos says.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. So now Matt has got the health advantage has been chewed down. Archosaurus goes down. Again, we talked about Archosaurus.
The health advantage still exists. Like, if there wasn't a health advantage, then Xander would be at 6 or whatever.
Right, but we're now we're more on even playing ground at this point now till the end. So second Hammer Knight coming into play.
The second Hammer Knight is problematic, probably. You only Fester one of them, and
yeah, it's
because they're Hammer Knights, they like kill half the.
I think I think you definitely have to protect that Root Armored Knight, Nick. So I think it makes a ton of sense to just take that 6 here, where you've got the health advantage. You can afford to take that 6 with Xander. Something that a Cole player would have a harder time doing, I think. So we're going to side action Abundance, draw 2. German's going to get to draw 2 as well here from that. Deck size is 8 to 14, so Matt's winning the deck battle here.
Yeah, I mean that's bound to happen when he has the 6 basic turn and he's getting Shadow Spirited.
So Hammer Knight goes for a full force 4 attack to Cole. We're going to see that Shadow Guard come into play and block that Knight. That is going to get a trigger of the Aftershock. That is also going to fire up that Chant of Revenge for Matt. Going to take that Hatchling off the board. And the Knight is alive still with 3 damage on it.
Yep. Obviously, that's really good. That's a really good Shadow Guard because now the Knight's slashable.
Right. Yep. Couldn't kill the Knight right out of the gate. It's going to take a side action to kill that Knight.
And Shadow Guard's an awesome card.
Shadow Guard's really a sick card. Get another Meditate here to bring that Divine up. Yeah, he's side. Yeah, he can't. Yeah, exactly.
What did he side?
He sided the Divine die.
The dice, yeah.
Yep. Okay. Got it corrected.
Probably shouldn't have shuffled, but
Well, I don't think the deck
it's
position
fine.
matters here, right? So
Well,
you think so, fighting? I'm not sure Cole is that far ahead yet. Maybe.
that Shadow Guard, like, was a big deal. I agree that he wasn't super far ahead into double knights, but that Shadow Guard essentially being just like knight removal spell.
What did Matt meditate the 2 from? What did he meditate?
He just played the main action.
Oh,
That
call.
call.
Call, yeah. Okay. Sorry, we were sorting out the sides and I got lost in the call. I missed the call got played there. So yeah. He's going to chant here for 1. That makes sense. I think that's very possible, Nick.
It's because we've played essentially like a whole extra round now that didn't need to be played. The number of abundance activations is going to be above where this game should be, I think.
Yeah, so to answer your question, fighting, no, the RA Hammer Knight in round 2 did not do anything. It has set on the board unexhausted up to this point. Has not been committed to any sort of action.
Right, because they keep early passing, so like they won't full commit, and so the knight can't commit. Like,
so he goes ahead and passes main again here, just meds up and passes main. I think that's smart. He knows Matt's not done playing cards here. Gonna play Shadow Spirit probably into a frog. Ping on that Shadow Spirit. I don't think that Shadow Spirit's going to get to stand up here. I'm assuming that's what the double frogs were. So we see that.
yeah, it's.
Well, I don't know if Cole wins specifically in this matchup with the game going long because it's not that Matt is on a deep abundance play, so he doesn't have second and third abundance books. So we're just
Well, I think I agree with Walloon just because even though he doesn't have extra abundances, the more turns that he gets to activate abundance, like pseudo gives you extra ones. Um, and what he said is exactly correct. Like Xander should be the beatdown deck, I think.
yeah. I would agree in principle with all of that you've said, fighting. This isn't the standard like make a bunch of abundances so that Cole can abundance you while putting up a wall of defenses and you take no damage from abundance yourself.
When you look at the board here, fighting it, I mean, to me it looks like the Cole deck is the beatdown deck, but that's just this specific board position.
Gonna crescendo that bear.
Okay.
Drop sleeping bear to kill the
Which
bear.
Unfortunately is going to, I assume, put that in Fester range now.
No, because the damage is prevented by the root armor.
Doesn't it put a wound? Or does it put a damage?
Crescendo puts damage.
Oh.
Yeah.
This card is so strange.
Only close combat does the wound. So you've got, I mean, it's a really good crescendo when you got a root armor knight like that. No, I haven't seen Gates. I didn't look at his deck. Oh, sorry. Those are the perils of.
He does have the one copy of Gates Turn open.
Okay. So it is possible he could have the gates here, but he wouldn't be able to play his board at that point. I guess he could just slash, but...
Nick, someday you're going to have to explain to me how the card Crescendo was designed. And I don't mean that it's too good or too bad or anything. It's just like a really strange amount of words on it.
So down goes a Hammer Knight.
One of maybe the only card that has a discard in its cost. Is there another one?
I don't know of another one that has discard.
And also does a damage to your own guy. Like it's just like weird effects.
Yep. Xander's gonna bring back probably Fire Archer. Yep.
Yeah. If he's Xandering at this point of the turn, I think he's probably just getting a thing he can play. Oh, nope, I lied.
No, he played the Fire Archer.
Oh, okay, I see. He paid for the Xander after the fact, yeah.
So pings the archer away. That way he doesn't get the damage. We're going to keep that fester up. Going to get pass. Shadow spirits stay up. This is a surprisingly close game here. It's a pretty good roll from
the
Matt.
biggest dice roll I've ever seen.
And we get 5 basics off of the Xander roll. Not a great roll for Xander. Matt probably gets a little better roll here with 4 basics. And he's got 4 powers up. So definitely Matt coming out the power victor here with the round 4, 5. I don't even know which one we're on now. How much in deck for Xander fighting? We've got 5 cards left for Xander, 12 cards left for Cole. So we're going to just see the same plan you saw before, which is to avoid the Earthquake and 2 for 1 in here. Rolls both of the ceremonials down. That must be to keep off that Fire Archer plan. Is that what he's planning there? Because he left the Divine up, which means he's going to take an extra
I think he's just still on the plan of like just going to the face with damage, and if he blocks, then he gets to fester it.
Got it. Well, no, I was talking about the roll down. He rolled down 2 ceremonial dice there versus the.
Right. What I'm saying is that like he did that because he does that. I don't know that he did it specific for the dice roll downs. I think he just attacked and he gets to do that because he attacked. Yeah, unless I'm missing something here. Oh no. The card Spearmaster had a discard as part of its cost. That's the only other one.
Class to basic is better than power to class. Maybe that's true, Matt. That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not looking specifically at the Xander cost to know for sure, but
Yeah, I agree with you, Nick. I'm not saying it's a bad designer thing. It's just like very interesting to me where that came from.
it's definitely punishing now because with only 5 cards left in the deck and you've got 7 basics, like, are you just going to meditate out, which just means abundance is going to do damage here?
Yeah, I think he's behind the gun here. Like I think the early passing has hurt the Xander deck greatly this game.
I think playing the Hammer Knight and not getting value out of the Hammer Knight as you try to fight through that Fester is really bad. There goes 3rd Earthquake, so no more Earthquakes. Another Fester gone. Not that Fester's super good against Matt's list here. He's got to be really careful here because if he goes too deep, the Abundance will kill him, or at least do damage.
Well, he kind of doesn't have a choice, right? Like his other option is not play cards.
Well, I definitely think at this point, this Hammer Knight is not living through the round, right? Because it's yeah, for sure. Chaos Abundance plus bad rolls has definitely pushed that value way down on the Hammer Knight. So there's the Flute Mage. He's going to try to just use Flute Mage to bring back the exhaustion token. Flute Mage is a reasonable card here. Not played a ton. 2 life means
it's very important that it has 2 life here.
Extremely, unless we've got 100 Blades play, which we do. So 100 Blades will put the 1 damage on. You can slash the Flute Mage away, and it does take away Matt's ability to. He's going to slash that Flute Mage with the Mist Typhoon. But it does take away the ability for the Shadow Spirits to get to the Hammer Knight as planned. So Matt's just on like Abundance plan to win at this point, I think, and Chant if he can play another ally. Like that other ally will be crucial here to speeding up the victory. We haven't seen second chant, so if Matt can put second chant down here and play an ally and let that ally get killed.
This is a match where I'm like really surprised that he didn't play Frostback Bear Book.
I agree. It just feels like you want it, right? Like a 3-life
Yeah,
unit.
you just want the dudes with the big butts against Cole.
Right. So no ping plan for that Shadow Spirit. That's interesting. Yeah. Very, very interesting because this is putting him in a position now
Well,
where...
yeah, he doesn't want to kill the spirits because he can't summon anymore now.
Oh, is it 3 spirit? I thought it was 4.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. That's why. Yeah. But Matt can slash his own spirits if he wanted to, right? I mean, that's a thing.
He could, but that's it's a cost of an action and a card that Matt has to pay to do that. So like make him pay it, right? Like you have no control over him doing that except by paying it, where he doesn't have to do that and still get the benefit.
Right. So we got Raptor Herder. Raptor Herder can put a fair amount of pressure on this board, especially with the Flute Mage still sitting.
I don't know how many of the sweepers we saw go by.
There's another 100 blades.
Yeah, I was gonna say he has to have another.
That's the third 100 blades here.
He has 3 Mist Typhoons and 300 blades, so I didn't think that Raptor Herder was probably gonna stick.
No, it seemed pretty unlikely.
Yep, not looking good for the German here.
What'll put German in a tight spot is he wants to play that Flute Mage out of hand. If Matt Abundances him, he still gets a 2 damage either way. And I don't think German has the power. No Molten Goal for Matt, no. I think...
No, but it doesn't matter very much because he's got Chant and decking damage to kill him with.
Yep, so this is going to reset the Hammer Knight. I think at this point, you just got to put a body in front of that knight, right?
German does not have Molten Gold, Cam.
Okay, so he's not saving the Fester die, spending 3 dice, play his own Hammer Knight here. Seems like a good counter strategy because now Cam, or excuse me, sorry Cam,
the one of Hammer Knight,
the one of Hammer Knight against your own Hammer Knight, like you can't open up the board at 3 life, so German has no choice but to sit on this Hammer Knight now.
Yeah, this is really rough because now we need to play a unit because otherwise he's going to 1.
Right. And then if Matt has any way to sack that Hammer Knight, then he wins off of Chant.
Well, I mean, he also just I
guess
he has to make a unit and not play a card.
Yeah. So first off, if German doesn't play a unit here, then Hammer Knight attacks and Shadow Spirit attacks. Hammer Knight has to block his Hammer Knight or he dies. That turns on Chant. He takes 2 from the Spirit and dies to the Chant. Yeah, Lightbringer and Salamander Monk are on German's board right now. Doesn't have dice for either one, so he cannot summon from the board. So it's
then he's in a lot of trouble because he's gonna go to 1 if he doesn't play a unit. If he does play a unit, he's gonna take a fatigue damage.
Well, he actually won't even go to 1 because as soon as Matt attacks.
Oh, right, because
the Chant will turn on and he'll use the Chant to clear out the board. He'll use Chant to do that last point for the 3.
Wait, why?
Okay, so Hammer Knight and Shadow Spirit. If German can't play a unit here, Hammer Knight and Shadow Spirit attack.
Oh, because he pumped the Hammer Knight is why.
Right.
So if he hadn't put the dice on that Hammer Knight,
the only answer is to ping the Shadow
block.
Spirit. Right. But he's still so he pings the Shadow Spirit. That only buys German another round. Whether or not that's good enough, we'll see. But
right, he's essentially trading frog dice for wolf dice here. Unless, oh god, does he have the particle shield?
Nope.
Oh.
Neil just wanted particle shield, folks. He was waiting for a particle shield.
I got so excited.
So it's Matt's turn here.
I can get excited about particle shield. Screw you.
Yeah, I think you just resummon Spirit here, right? Because even if he meditates, he can't kill the Spirit. So that's gonna. I mean, Xander is out of options at this point. I think. I mean, unless there's a unit in hand, the med 2. What would be interesting here is if you force. I guess if you force the draw, nothing really happens because they can still just use those 2 cards for meditate. Yeah, I agree here. And Matt's got to have the game. I don't know if he sees it yet. We'll see what Matt is in the tank on it though. He's not quickly making actions here.
Wait, he isn't actually.
Jason's out of Earthquakes Chaos. All 3 are in the bin. Already, I've been watching that. Matt is in the tank on it. He's just going to abundance it.
Right. Seems fine.
Seems good.
If he draws the gates, he gets to kill him, right?
Yeah, just off abundance. But he's still got to kill the Hammer Knight somehow.
Well, he'll just like attack with Hammer Knight. He'll have to block. Hammer Knight will be dead. He can use the chant, play gates, and use the abundance.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of outs here for Matt. I think I'm not sure what German's got left in the tank here on those last 5 cards. So we're gonna see the double med of the spell board. Make a couple of dice here. I guess he's on plan. I'm not sure what the plan is.
Yeah, that's true, Chaos. The Knight is also lethal. Both Knights are lethal, I guess, as they stare at each other.
Agreed, Nick. That one Earthquake for Jason would have been huge here. So he's just going to 2 shadows the Flute Mage. That's an interesting decision.
Yeah, so I think it's fine. He might as well use his resources while he has them. Just 1 less blocker.
Right. Double pass his main. No, he already had that Shadow Spirit pinged down from a previous nature die. So, yeah, it doesn't exhaust because of alerts. You're 100% right.
Who's going first?
German is.
Okay. So he's not actually dead. I haven't been watching close enough to know exactly what his hand is. I'm sure we can figure it out, but...
not probably without being able to look at the discard piles.
So what could he have here? He could have a Fire Archer.
He's got Fire Archer for Xander comeback, but I don't think 2 units gets it done for you. I think it's the same boat as he was in before.
Yeah, he has to play a unit.
And Recursion puts Abundance at well, he can Xander recur Cam, so he doesn't take the damage. He can Xander recur here instead of Ceremonial recur. So pitching the Archosaurus makes sense. So he's medding, so we're not going to see Recursion here. He's got something in hand. Has he got Raptor Herder? He would need a Raptor here.
Have we seen both the other Hammer Knights go by? I know we saw one.
Don't know on that. I know we saw one.
So he made a...
Here's the Raptor Herder.
Okay.
Yep.
Sure. Raptor Herder being the best blocker, I guess, because it blocks twice.
So the question will be, does Matt play Bloodchains or something that could self-sack?
Well, yeah, slash... Oh, you mean to sack the Hammer Knight.
Right, because then he just turns on Chant through Abundance, right? So he just deals 2 through the Abundance to there. So if he's got one way to self-sack the Hammer Knight, then Chant wins the game. And he's going to slash the Raptor.
Yeah.
That just turns off the group
slash
tactics.
The Herder, yeah.
No self-sack in Matt's deck. So he's going to put 1 damage on the Hammer Knight. He's got the Fester. He's clearly making that.
I love that you spelled 100 Blades with a 3, Cam.
All 100 Blades are gone. So
he Festers the Knight, and that will do it.
Yeah, I think you couldn't do that. That was definitely the...
Well, I think he was probably just essentially conceding.
Yeah. Yep. Good game.
That was a really interesting game.
Very interesting game.
So, my question is... I guess the gates must be in the last 5, because I didn't remember seeing it go by.
Must be.